Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Spawncast episode 199. Our guest tonight, we have Jake Randall. Jake, over there, helping everybody get the PS5 and the Xbox Series X up, streaming for hours and hours and hours, helping people. This past week, they actually had a pretty good drop right across retailers for those systems. How'd all that go?
The drop wasn't huge, but pretty much every retailer did drop. I think it was Amazon for like a second in the morning. There was GameStop, Best Buy had a really, really nice drop, and then Walmart. The only one that didn't was Target, all in one day. So It was a good day. I saw a lot of people on Twitter say they got systems. They actually got them. So hopefully it gets easier and easier as we go along here into the start of the year. I'm actually, you know what, real quick, I'm a little surprised the PS5 is still as hot as it is, because I brought this up on Twitter. It, like, the one game we have coming up is Returnal, right? And then Destruction All-Stars, right? Like that. No, that's exactly it, right? Yeah, everybody. That's pretty much it. I was thinking myself, like, before March, there's really nothing besides Demon Souls that's out. But besides Demon Souls, if you don't have the console yet, you don't have to beat yourself up about it. You're not really missing much.
Well, I'm thinking
better performance on previous gen games.
I'm thinking if they slap a release date on like Ratchet and Clank and then like Gran Turismo, and both of them are before June or both before July, then you get like probably a whole nother rush for PS5. So you'll probably be streaming, trying to help people get systems for a little while now, most likely.
Yeah, and then hopefully maybe this summer Nintendo might have a new console. I would be pretty excited to stream for that.
Oh, that's gonna be ugly. Yeah. When that system comes out. The Game & Watch wasn't bad though. The Game & Watch was okay. Like that was pretty easy. I go to Walmart and there's stacks of them in there.
Yeah,
so
but
like
Fire Emblem was a pain in the ass.
That's true.
Fire Emblem. They made 15 copies of those and they gave me like 10 of them. So like
I do remember when the Switch Lite came out, that was a pain to get. So like I feel like I remember going and they were just gone. Like I remember there weren't that many of them there. So
I got mine from Amazon.
I think I got mine at GameStop. That's where I just walked in and got it after I pre-ordered it. But good to have you with us, Jake. Tonight we got a bunch of stuff to go over, which includes the Xbox Live price change, and then they backtracked right away. So we'll go over that. The RE showcase. Max actually isn't here. I thought he might want to chime in on that, but we did also have a demo on the PS5 with Maiden, and we had an interesting set of games show up seemingly from EA that may actually include Frostbite going to the Switch. So that, and I'm sure all kinds of sidetracking and side conversations. So should be a fun night. MVG, what's going on? Good to have you back this weekend.
Hey, doing well, man. Thanks for having me back on. Yeah, I was off last week, but great to be back.
Yeah, we got a good video coming up this week, right? You've been posting some stuff on Twitter.
Yeah, messing around with the 3DS. We'll be giving away that 3DS as well. So check out my video on Monday if you want to learn
That's more. The 3DS I want. I don't have that. That's the one 3DS I don't have yet. That's the 3DS.
The metallic blue, the LL.
Just the LL, the normal size. Right. That's the normal sized new 3DS from Japan, right?
Yep.
Yes, that's the one I need to get. I've never had that one.
You'll have to enter that competition, and
I will.
And it's been touched by MVG. You know what it was.
Click, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. We're experiencing some PC problems, so I might be in and out tonight. But other than that, we're golden.
Yes, a lot of chances of some good thumbnails for the Clips channel on Click's side here.
You would.
And Nate, how's it going? Nate the Hate.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Good to have Nate here.
Yep.
What's wrong, Nate?
I was playing Cyber Shadow. I wasn't really listening to anyone doing anything.
Are you supposed to tell people you're playing Cyber Shadow?
I think I can say I'm playing it. I just can't say anything else about it.
Is it like Cyberpunk?
Well, everyone else is playing Cyber
Shadow. Nothing like Cyberpunk at all.
Are we allowed to say that? I don't know if we're allowed to say that either.
I mean, you can look at the PAX East for 2 years, so I can just base it on that experience.
We've said it. Okay, it looks good.
Yeah, you can look at the trailer.
Okay, it looks good.
Yeah, retro style, 2D scrolling Ninja Gaiden style game.
It's kind of hard to mess up that type of game, you know?
No, you can mess them up,
but it's hard. Ninja Gaiden, messing up a Ninja Gaiden game. The blueprint's been out there forever. Like, what?
Yeah, but you can still mess them up. I mean, have you seen some of the indie games I have gameplay of on my channel?
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly. I have a.
You dig to the bottom of that eShop though half the time.
No
But
ski
that's not
sniper.
true.
Technically, the top,
Any
since it all just kind
developer
of appears
that's
there and
competent.
goes down.
Nate, you wade through that eShop, man.
I do not. They reach out. They say, "Hey, you want to cover this game?" I'm like, "Sure." I play. I'm like, "Wow, this game's terrible." And then people watch it and they say, "Wow, that game's terrible." Or they say, "That game looks fun." And then they buy it and they come back and say, "I shouldn't have bought that game." And that's your own fault. I gave you 20 minutes of footage and you could tell it was terrible. So don't buy the game. That's my service. I allow people to see awful eShop games before they come out so they can look at it and not waste their hard-earned money on games like Ski Sniper and
Whoa.
That's a number one hit.
Great game.
yeah, for 15 cents, but now you can't even get it for 15 cents. All the games have to be $1.99. So now it's a ripoff.
Supply and demand.
No.
I mean,
we prevented it from being a penny.
we sold tens of copies of that game. Okay,
We probably sold 8.
we're going copper soon. Okay, Sean, how you doing?
I'm all right. Just took my Uwan Jones Wrestling Empire is not awful. It's awfully fun. It's just not a good wrestling game, but as a fucking chaotic game, it's great. I'm all right.
What?
Just took a couple Tums. Well, not name brand Tums, of course.
I was gonna say you post that up there,
Yeah,
right? So you had Little Caesars and some Crazy Bread, and then you get the off-brand antacid like tablets.
It messes you up that bad, huh?
You didn't go for the top shelf on those.
It sounds explosive, Sean.
I mean, it's just like the whole like puking like in your mouth when you sleep, like that sucks. So like I'm trying to avoid that.
Yeah,
You know
Sounds
how
like
you
I
could
win.
avoid that? By buying quality pizza from, if that costs more than 2 cents.
I'm gonna be honest, it's just Italian food in general at this point.
What type of Italian are you?
One that's eating too much shitty Italian.
that sub looked pretty good though.
Yeah, you're a disgrace to
Oh
our
yeah,
people.
that chopped cheese was fucking amazing.
No, it had 2 big tomatoes on it. Ruined.
No, it would have like 4, but I
That's even worse.
I took one of them off because I only wanted 3. I will say there was a little too much ketchup for my liking, but overall it was
Ketchup?
What are you catching?
ketchup.
Ketchup?
It's an E, not an A.
Ketchup?
Are we playing ketchup?
Ketchup. Ketchup.
Ketchup.
Was it ketchup or was it catsup?
Ketchup.
Catsup.
We're professionals.
Okay,
Ketchup.
let's go. We got
Are you here to help me with my ketchup catsup problem?
we got OJ Player Essence here tonight. How's it going, OJ?
Y'all corny as hell. Shut up. Let's get on with the podcast. What the hell just happened right now? But I'm doing good. Welcome everybody. Thank you for having me on.
Can you tell us what the difference between ketchup and catsup is, OJ?
I don't give a damn. It's the red stuff that you put on certain things.
But there is a difference.
There's not.
I quit.
There's a little
Is there
bit.
really?
Yeah, there's a difference in flavor and a little bit of texture.
What?
This is I don't speak this talk that black people don't understand this. I don't understand what the hell y'all talking
I mean,
about.
it could be the green stuff like in Jordan's image.
I got new
I'm gonna
followers
revoke
from my
that title. I'm gonna
recommendation.
revoke that title. You're acting
Hey.
weird as hell. Stop it.
I'm drinking some Henny. I'm having a good night.
You're drinking. I knew you were drinking.
Jordan, how's it going over there?
Get that mute button ready.
It's going.
That bottle of catsup by your side.
I got the ketchup right here.
Then we have Evan who's powering through to that episode 200 shirt.
Yep.
I can tell you, Evan, I think the guest for next week, I do not believe is. I don't think they're new to the shirt, so you've probably already drawn them, so
Maybe.
you should be good.
Oh,
I'm assuming this isn't going to be done probably till episode 202, 203, because I actually want to quality control this. I'm going to be ordering one before I post it up.
Oh
I wanna
yeah,
actually
no,
see
it's
what
sort
the
of
hell they
fine.
look
But I mean, like, I think after you've drawn Jake and everything out of the shirt, I think that's it. I think it'll be good.
Gonna
I'll
go
buy
with
the heck out of that
gonna go with
shirt.
the headband thing. He's probably gonna be Cerberus. It'll be great.
Oh.
ooh.
I love that.
Ooh, okay. Very nice. All right, so we want to go over what we played this week. I know Sean, you played a little bit of Hitman 3, but let's go over to Jake, our guest. Do you want to start us off? Let us know what you played this week. Anything good?
Yeah, sure. I actually, starting like a week and a half ago, I picked up Hades for the first time.
I hear that a lot, actually. A lot of people come on the podcast are like, yeah, I got Hades. And
Tell me what you
what do
think. It's the greatest thing ever,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it right away, like I just started playing it and I was like, okay, this is better than the reason I hadn't touched it is because there's just been so many roguelikes.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the Game Awards happened and all that, it was getting more hype, more people were trying it. I was like, why not? I think it was like on sale too, $19.99, $5 off, whatever.
Oh, that's a steal, yeah.
But I got addicted to it, and I've beaten the game now with every weapon except for the bow and arrow, which is I hate that weapon.
There's
Good
a
kid.
really good my fastest time was with one of the bow and arrows. There's
Really?
a really good combo. Yeah, the one that
What
splits the
build?
arrows into AoEs that hit everything and Doom. You just spray Doom all over a room and everything
Oh.
just dies instantly. It's
Wow.
great.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've been playing that randomly. I've never touched the Yakuza series, and I just started playing that this week. So that's a really
which one did you
random
start
one.
with?
I'm starting with Kiwami. Like just
Okay.
one.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people started with 0 because I think that's the one that I started with at the time. Max
Well,
has it all figured out. He's like, you go
when
here.
Yeah, no, so when I go back and play like older game series like that, I try to start with the one where the gameplay is the least evolved. So then as I progress through the series, I don't take a step back ever in the gameplay. They just keep getting better. So I think 0 is a lot more refined than like the original Kiwami. So that was my logic with not starting with 0.
Okay. Yeah. Very nice. Very nice.
And then
About
last
Oh,
thing
no,
was
you're fine,
with,
you're fine.
Phoenix Rising or Immortal
Oh,
Phoenix
okay.
Rising on the PS5, which really surprised me.
So I liked Immortals Phoenix Rising actually quite a bit compared to like I didn't think it was gonna be very good at all, just from what they were showing leading up to it. And that was actually one of my favorite games of last year. That was a pretty good game.
I tried telling you it was gonna be fun, but you
It was
don't want to
good.
believe me. Okay, John.
I did honestly. I beat that game in a couple of nights because I liked it that much. So it was much better than what I was used to with Assassin's Creed games in general because I think they've become very
Say what you want to say, John.
monotonous.
It's much better than all of Ubisoft's other games. Because
I liked Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I liked Odyssey.
Black Flag was a long time ago.
I know
What?
Odyssey.
Yeah.
Odyssey was kind of recent, but
They
like
were
Valhalla.
different.
Valhalla wasn't for me. I guess I don't know. When MVG told me it was like 60 hours, I was like, yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
Black Flag is the best one. I don't care what I.
It was 60 hours and I raced through it.
Oh man.
Seriously.
Yeah, that's the thing I liked about Immortals is it felt more streamlined overall. So I enjoyed that quite a bit. How far did you get in it, Jake? Did you just start playing it recently?
Oh no, I got pretty far into it.
Oh, okay.
Probably like I put like 12 hours into it, and then I was getting. Everyone says it's like Breath of the Wild, but I was getting those feels kind of like in a really good way because it's basically got like shrines, like the pits that you jump into, right? So just slowly adding to my health, adding to my stamina. I was getting like the same vibe as when I was playing Breath of the Wild, and it's a good place to be.
Yeah, they took a formula that works and they just kind of added some Assassin's Creed in there and some Greek mythology. I think it worked out fine for what it was. It wasn't something that was super hyped up, and it was obviously a lower budget title for the Assassin's Creed team, but I think they did good. So it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Sean, you want to hit us off with start us off with Hitman 3? I know you got it, but you got the cloud version.
I did get the Nintendo Switch version.
Okay. The cloud version.
From a business perspective, because I looked and I'm like, a lot of people are reviewing Hitman 3 for the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. They're not getting dick for views. If I'm going to play this game, I would like to play the Switch version because not as many people are talking about the Switch version, and maybe I can get some good views on it. With that being said, I know it's got like a really good score on Metacritic. I don't understand why.
So
I'm not
here's
saying-
okay, yeah, I was about to say I wanted to get your perspective on this because I feel like a lot of people are going to buy this game and then be like, I don't get it.
Well, here's the thing: is I have not played a Hitman game since Hitman 2 on the Nintendo GameCube.
Silent Assassin.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And I played this game and I'm like, it's the same fucking game except the areas are bigger and there's
wait. You didn't play Absolution?
no.
Oh, Absolution was good. I liked Absolution.
That's a good
I mean,
game. Yeah.
It feels exactly like the games, the first two Hitman games which I played back in the day did. And I mean, I'm not saying that's bad, because I think the gameplay style is interesting enough, but it feels like the series hasn't really evolved. Now, they've done things to sort of evolve it as far as like the stories are concerned within the levels, because there's only 6 levels, and theoretically speaking, you could kind of breeze through the levels in like an hour and beat the game in like 6 hours in your first playthrough, because your main thing is you have to eliminate targets. But within those levels, there are multiple stories that you can discover that sort of make it a bit better and whatnot. It's definitely a slower paced game, so I feel like the cloud version manages to benefit from it because there is input lag. You could see my video on it. Go watch the video a million times to see the input lag. Now, Nintendo Life made a video and they had a bunch of fucking problems with their quality connection. I did not have those sort of problems to where it would slow down to a crawl. So that's another thing. It's like, well, your mileage is going to vary depending on like I don't have a great internet connection, but I believe they're based out of the UK. So it's like, are different regions going to have different sorts of internet connections? There's no graphics or performance settings, so you can't prioritize whichever. I don't think it's a bad game. I think at its core, the game, no matter what system it's on, like even with better graphics and better controls, to me it's still like a 7.5 or something like that. But the Nintendo Switch version having problems with the controls at times, having things like the frame rate dips, I got to give it lower than that. I don't really score games on the channel, but because I feel like my words should be the score. But yeah, like I don't know, man. Like I think Hitman needs like if I remember playing a Hitman game, nearly 15 plus years ago, and it still feels like the same, and like the animations are still all stiff for 47 and stuff, it's like maybe the series needs to go in like a different direction.
So I think I think the series is going to go on like a hiatus for a little while now, because they're going to do 007 next. And I think it'll be interesting to see them go away from Hitman, because they've been doing like kind of the stealth stuff. And I guess technically 007 still, spy oriented, but I feel like there'd be a bit more action than what Agent 47 has. But the thing I liked about Hitman so far that I've played is I was expecting each map or each part you're going through to be very, very similar, but like right away after you do the first one, and it's basically like a tutorial one kind of, dude, the second one they have you do a murder mystery.
Yeah, like there is a good variety, and then like you have the club level, and then you have like the weird Chinese area where it's like you're in a seedy downtown. That looks that part of the game,
the neon lights and stuff,
looks like that looks really damn good. Like that was part of the area I showed off in my video. I do like the area variety, but it's still like you're doing very similar things. And like the whole murder mystery thing, like I got kind of stuck and confused in my playthrough. And I'm just like, fuck this. And I just like took out the old lady and then just ran for the hills. Like,
so this is really funny how mine worked out, because I think everyone's is going to work out a little differently in the Hitman levels. So I was trying to like go to all the rooms, because they were like, go to this room and get clues, right? And I was like, all right, I'll go to the different rooms. I start doing that. You find hidden pass. I go through all this stuff. And then I go to the butler's office, and I'm trying to get in there. And I'm like, how do I get in there? I climb out on the ledge for the building. I kind of like sidle around, like scooting around it. I climb through a window, and I just stand there and I'm looking around. The old lady just walks through the door next to me, and I just stand there, and she's looking at me and I'm looking at her. I just pull the gun out and just pop her one. I just jump out the window and run.
The AI in the game.
That was it. It was over.
The AI is not like, I played on professional, which is the middle one, and the AI is kind of stupid as fuck sometimes. Like I'm just like, what are you doing here? My thing was, I kept the lady like out in just the open and just said, screw it. I ran out, and then you got to get that dossier from her office. And like, I just started shimmying on areas, and I just found my way up, and there was like a guard on a balcony, and I ripped them off, and I went up on the balcony, and that happened to be her office. And then like I went in her office, and I'm starting to look around, and there's a guard just standing there, and he's like looking at me, and I'm just kind of looking at him. So like I picked up like something off of her desk and just chucked it at him.
You throw it at him and hits him right in the face.
And I'm like, how did you not notice me there? Like I didn't notice you. You've probably noticed me in here for at least a minute. So
the only thing that bothers me is the control. I think the controls need some work at times, because to go through your inventory and pick stuff out, you kind of got to freeze everything when I was, going through and you're trying to see what's illegal items and not. And it does feel a little stiff. You're right. So that's one of the reasons I'm interested in a more fast paced kind of, I guess, game that I assume they're going to do with 007. Like, I don't think 007 is going to be just like Hitman. So I think they've developed their ideas with Hitman now after doing now through Hitman 3, and we'll see what they do with 007. But I think that's like 3 years off now. But I think it'll be kind of cool to see what they have there.
With all that being said, I don't think it's a bad game. It's just definitely a game that I would pick up on a discount.
It doesn't. It's not as action oriented as I think people are going to expect when they go into it. Like I think they're going to pick it up. And it's basically a puzzle game.
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah, get it on a platform that you can get a refund after a couple hours, like Steam or I guess Xbox. You know, so you can try it out. Just to see. I think. Wait, does the cloud version on Switch have like a demo of it?
Yes, it does.
I think there is.
Do that. Okay, do that. Try it out. Do your thing, and try it that way.
And plus, see how bad your input lag is going to be.
Yeah. What about MVG?
I played Hitman as well. I picked it up for the Xbox Series X. Series S.
Okay. So Sean played it on the Switch. You played it on the Xbox. I played it on the PS5. They didn't use the adaptive triggers that much, by the way. Go on.
Yeah. And I got to be honest, I agree with Sean on this one. Like, I think everything you said, I kind of agree with. I like the game fine. But it's not really like rocking my world. You know, it's something I will probably play through because right now there's not really much else going on. But I kind of feel the same way. I kind of feel like that whole series has just kind of run its course, and we need something different, you know. And but yeah, it's a fine game. There's nothing wrong with it. I do think though you should probably wait for it to be reduced, and before you check it out. Other than that, I know we're going to talk about Resident Evil, but I played I think we all did, but the Maiden demo as well. So I got some thoughts on that too.
Yes,
but
yep,
it's about it. It's about it.
Cool.
Did the VR version for Hitman 3 come out? Like with the game?
I haven't tried it. If they did, I thought it came out alongside of it. I have not tried.
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
So here's what happens when I think about VR. I go, oh, that'd be fun, and I realize all the stuff you have to hook up, and I got to like go behind the TV to get to that. I'm like, maybe tomorrow.
Sure.
That's kind of what happens, to be honest. Like that's why I hope PSVR 2 is much easier to hook up, just so I don't even think about it. But
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. What about you, Jordan? What'd you play?
So I really got swept into all my free time into a shamefully Assassin's Creed again.
No.
Wait, hold on.
He's
Valhalla?
backsliding.
Yes, but let me talk about it.
Backsliding.
Valhalla. So I've crossed the 60-hour mark now, right?
Oh my
gosh. I'm not. I have for the last 10 hours. I have not done any story-based missions. All I've been doing is clearing out stuff and leveling up my character and finding gear and weapons and doing the stuff that makes the game at least fun for me. Like it's so much fun to just go, okay, I'm gonna go raid this random village. I'm gonna go level up my stuff, and it's so much better in my experience doing that. And then every time I do any story-based missions or any of the one-on-one combat side missions that let you like get certain, I don't want to spoil anything, but certain smaller quest lines to certain gear, just it's still awful in that sense. I'm just so turned off by that. But the rest of the game, just exploring, I don't know, it's been kind of like relaxing doing anything else but the main story of the game. And I'm finding the most random and weird events in the world that I'm like, this is so cool, and then I'll do something right after. I'm like, and you ruined it.
I have a question. Jordan, I have a question. Have you done Finland yet?
Yeah, I finished Finland. So when I got back into the game, I talked about it last week. When I started playing it a little bit, I just said, you know what, I got to get through the Finland stuff. And I did it, and it wasn't so bad as it was still just boring, but I was able to get through it pretty easy. And now the game, I'm at a point where I've leveled up so much just exploring in 10 hours. I'm like, why don't I just do this at the start of the game? Like this is a lot more fun.
Gordon,
So
I had a question too. Have you played Immortals as well?
yes.
So as someone played Assassin's Creed at all, but you clearly put a ton of time into that.
Mhm.
What is your direct comparison?
So Immortals is made by in my opinion, the better Assassin's Creed team, right? It's made by the people who did Odyssey, and you can tell that's there, and that's why I love Immortals. I think Immortals is a better game. It's a better story-based game. It's a better action combat-based game. There's a lot to it that is completely different. The problem with Assassin's Creed, Valhalla tried to be The Witcher. And that's the biggest problem. It's really trying hard to be The Witcher 3, and it takes the momentum and free flowing that the other Assassin's Creed, even to an extent Odyssey and Origins had, with how you feel as an assassin, how you can run around. You are a tank in Valhalla. You are slow even when you're running fast. You swing your weapons slow. Like there's so much about it that is like it's not as satisfying as it should feel. But Immortals was fast, fun. There's obviously it's very inspired by Legend of Zelda, and it was a lot more fun time. It was like a good solid 16-hour game that I enjoyed, and I put 60 hours into a game I moderately enjoy. So like that's only because I'm like, I don't really want to play anything else. I don't want to do the new Cyberpunk update because I heard it breaks everying. So
Broke everything.
It does.
So I don't even want to turn on that. So
I love how the like when they tweeted out that they were doing the new update, I was taken aback by the way they described it. Was this is the patch that will lay the groundwork for the future patches that will actually fix the game.
Yeah.
It was
So we
worded
broke
like
it.
that, which I was like, okay, let me know when those ones happen.
Yeah, I'm just gonna wait a little
Rip
bit.
everything out to get started again.
Yeah, just wait until they fix it. If you want to play a good Assassin's Creed game that came out last year, play Ghost of Tsushima. It took everything it learned from Assassin's Creed and it perfected it. And you have that and Valhalla released in the same year, and it puts Assassin's Creed to shame. It was like that moment when you're like, oh yeah, Tomb Raider's great, and then Uncharted came out, and you're like, whoa, I didn't know you could change it up like that. And then, in turn, that game went and took that advice and fixed their series up a little bit for modern age. And I think Assassin's Creed, at least, their teams need to get on a copacetic path that they can keep the game's quality as good as it was the previous one, gameplay wise. And I think Valhalla is a down step still from Odyssey.
One of the things you said is that the game just doesn't really respect your time.
No,
like if the game was exactly as is, but was like maybe 20 hours, do you think you'd like it more?
If there was a good story to tell within those 20 hours, yeah, absolutely. The problem is, and MVG, I mean, you've actually beaten the story, so you can attest to this probably more. But with the story and how far it's spread out, by the end of it, and I'm close to the end, I only have a little bit more to do. It is just so uninteresting, and all the side stuff, all the side mysteries, the side stories is so good, and that's where I would rather the story be placed on. But the story is, hey, go over here, do 3 missions that help out this area of England, and then come back, and then go do 3 missions that help out this area of England, and you do that 10 times. And it's just not it's not interesting. You meet interesting characters, but the story itself isn't this grand adventure, which is
go find Sigurd, then go with Sigurd to this place and clear out this area, and then the next mission is go find Sigurd, then go and clear out this next area. You're right, it's very, very much,
and that's the
like
problem.
That.
If that's what some games have, that problem balancing, is putting you as the character in the meaningful part of the story. Borderlands 3, in my opinion, failed in that because your character is just a vessel to see the events happening instead of you being there with the events really causing or being an actual person in the world of these. The Assassin's Creed toes the line. Sometimes you're important, sometimes you're just a side character. It's like, no, you're not important, we want your brother. No, you go do this, but we're really worried about this guy's story. And that guy's story is interesting. He's working with all the stuff you want to be learning about, but no, I gotta go upgrade my town, and I gotta go to here and raid this place, and nothing. I don't know. There's a lot of work that I think needs to be done. I think Odyssey captured the that game has some boring moments, but if you streamline your playthrough, that game is very I thought well done. Valhalla is just I don't know. It's story-wise a very snooze fest. So I say just kind of create your own story within that game as much as you can. Go do all the extra stuff. Go meet characters, go do side world stuff. But that's enough Assassin's Creed. I'm sure you guys are tired of me hearing me talk about.
Okay. What about OJ over there?
Let's talk about a good game. Resident Evil 2 remake.
That is a good game.
Been replaying that on the LG CX.
Oh, it probably looks good on that.
And it's even better. It's even better than I remembered, because I played the game originally. I played, I think, about 4 or 5 hours into Leon's campaign, and then I stopped. I don't know. I just got sidetracked with other stuff, and I started it over again, playing it with the new TV, and it is even better because it's already optimized for the Xbox One X. So it even looks better, and the loading times are instant. and the HDR is phenomenal, and the gameplay is so good. Like finding everything, upgrading. I'm pretty much right at the end of Leon's campaign. I've got a surround sound system coming in, so I'm just gonna wait till I get that. I got a Dolby Atmos surround sound coming in tomorrow, so I'm gonna finish it up tomorrow, and then I'll start up Claire's campaign as well. But I'm really, really enjoying it, and I'm excited to kind of get back into like Resident Evil more and play more. I'm gonna go back and play some of the. I'm gonna play Resident Evil 7. I'm gonna go back and finish that. But Resident Evil 2 remake it's like right up there with my favorite ones, which my favorite ones are 4, 5, and I think Resident Evil 2 is right up there with 4 with me. It's like getting there. I got to beat everything, but it's right up there, man. It is phenomenal, and I'm playing on the Series X, so it's really good. So I highly recommend it. It's super cheap. If you haven't played it yet, pick it up. So yeah,
I was just alerted that Pico donated $1,000.
Yo,
Oh my god.
That's quite a bit. Are you sure that's not like a typo, Pico? Because that seems like a lot of money
No,
to
it's
donate.
Pico. That's intentional. Pico is.
Damn, that extra turn came through this year, huh?
shout outs to Pico, man.
That's very generous.
Harry
Pico.
dudes or something, man. Like, you know, I can show you a
Pico.
little this.
He's an Australian too, so it's probably for MVG.
Oh, it's Australian dollars.
okay.
It's only like
Yeah.
about 50 cents.
No.
anyway.
It was US dollars.
Pico said, I hope you all had a great Xmas New Year. You all do great work. Congrats, OJ, on the good news. Glad I was able to find you guys in 2020.
Love you, Pico.
Good news. Oh, okay. I know what he's talking about.
No
Yeah.
big deal.
Pregnant. OJ's
I was
pregnant.
like Resident Evil. I was like Resident Evil 2 remake. I'm like, okay.
Oh my
yeah, I
gosh.
guess. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
totally forget about the wife.
no, I did not. I did not forget about the wife. Yeah. Thank you, Pico. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Pico. Thanks, that's very generous. And then we have Nate. Nate, what did you play? Almost concerned that the bottom of the eShop's coming up here.
I played Hitman 3 on the Switch because they sent me a review code. It's a weird scenario with that game. I was at the end of a mission, and all of a sudden it comes up, oh, the servers are overloaded. Sorry. Like, okay. Eventually I get back to the game, and I have to restart the mission. So guess what, Agent 47? Fuck you. And you bite us, your shitty servers. Oh, we have server congestion? Sorry, we're just going to kick you out of the game, and you can replay it. Yeah, that's fun in a game that takes you like 45 minutes to get to a target. And then I'm playing it, and I decided to leave the system on for a second. I went to go get a drink. I came back, and the person I was supposed to assassinate died. I didn't do anything. They just died. I don't know if they died from old age, if they committed suicide. I don't know what happened to the person, but I apparently got the target without playing the game. So that was kind of amazing, and it kind of made up for server congestion, making me replay it. So maybe it was an apology of having the target off themselves. I don't know. I kind of wish I knew what happened to them. Like if they fall out the window, did a angry waiter stab them in the neck? I'll never find out. But it's an okay game. It's not bad. It looks good. I'll give it that much. It looks good on the Switch.
It looks good on the
It should.
PS5 at 60 frames per second and everything. It's same on the Series X.
Yeah, I'd be curious how the two look side by side. See
I
how
think the
much
Series X-
artifacting there is.
Oh, you mean for like the Switch version?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously native, it's gonna look better, but yeah, I'd be curious too to see how the cloud version looks on the Switch versus the others. Just to see. By the way, there was some server issues with the PS5 and the Xbox version, despite it being technically a single player game. You still got disconnected from server messages quite a bit on day one because it still leverages like a lot of online stuff for like scores and all of this.
I mean, that's not good for a cloud-based game where it's always server congestion. And then it comes up like, oh, your connection's not strong enough, but it shows full bars. So I think my connection is strong enough. And I can't imagine there's that many Switch players actively playing Hitman 3 to the point where there is server congestion.
No way.
I don't buy that. But aside from Hitman 3, I played Cyber Shadow. I guess we can't talk about that yet.
You cannot.
I played something else. I'm trying to remember what it was now. Couldn't have been that good.
Okay, there you go. Easy enough. All right. What about Evan?
Usual grind stuff. Tried to play and push further in GTFO, but that didn't pan out. But I did pick up Skull the Hero Slayer, which is pretty cool. It's similar in a lot of ways to Dead Cells, but it has a lot of Kirby in it, so it's kind of fun. Yeah, you play this little skeleton that just, killing heroes because it's what you do. And along the way, you'll find kind of like monster skulls, and you take yours off, put theirs on, and you gain powers. And you kind of go through and use their powers to kill more people and try to get through the missions. Just super fun.
All right. Do we have any Discord questions?
We got a fair bit, a couple shout outs and stuff. We'll start with this one because I actually looked up info for it. Does anyone know what happened to Windjammers 2? The reveal trailer was almost 2.5 years ago and it looked
That is
functional.
a good question.
Dot MU tweeted out in December that they tested it, everyone loved it, but they hated that there was no rollback for online. So they're putting rollback in it. So sometime this year, supposedly.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that tweet. They made that announcement, so I would expect it this year at some point.
Yep.
Okay. Easy enough. Very good. You got another Discord question?
When will Super Turrican Anthology 1 and 2 digital versions be released for the Switch?
Oh, what do you think?
I know the producer on that game. I think it's. I don't know exactly when it's coming out, but it's probably before. It's the first half of the year. I just don't know when it'll come out, but yeah, soon.
Okay. You got another Discord question, Evan?
Sort of a blast from the past for us, John. This guy's having issues with his PS3 disk drive. It's not reading DVDs, but it's reading Blu-rays and games flawlessly. He's wondering if there's anything happening with it. And I mean, we know that both the lasers are in that drive, so most likely his DVD laser burned out. Yep.
Yeah, new laser. See if it reads. Actually, I don't know how old's the PS3. Does it say?
No.
I was gonna say see if a PS2 game works in it. If it's like an old PS3. Otherwise,
can I suggest just hacking it and just get a USB drive and then get everything
there
on
you go.
USB drive and just play games that way?
You could do that too. Play your backups, right?
Yep.
Legal backups.
Backup.
Otherwise, order a laser and try your hand at around the mechanical disk drive that always seems to break whenever people try to work on them, and they bring them into us with screws and springs everywhere.
Oh no!
It happened all the time. I think you can order an entire drive. I don't think the PS3 drives don't have. They're not soldered at all, so you can just actually remove the board, pop it into the new one, and call it. So as long as you get the right drive. What's another Discord question, Evan?
Because you guys kept talking about TVs for a while. This guy doesn't have a budget for a CX. He's looking to get something from Samsung's QLED range, I guess. He's looking for 50 to 55 inches, around 800 or less.
Samsung QLED, right? Interesting.
Well, you said he has about 800 right now?
Or less, for the 50 to 55 inch range.
Just save a bit more and wait.
Well, here's what's going to happen. They're going to have new TVs coming out in the springtime. I know Sony has a bunch that are coming out, and Samsung's going to have some too. Honestly, if you wait like 3 months, some of the current models are going to get price drops at Best Buy. Like they'll drop $200 to $300 just to start getting rid of them, and that's when you pick up your Samsung QLED or something. Because there are some QLEDs like the Q80. Is Q80S or Q80T, that's just over $1,000. I think that's like $1,100. But when it goes on sale, when they try to get rid of them, that will probably be $800 at like Best Buy.
Or even like the Sony, like the 900X. I know you said you wanted the QLED, but even that TV is really good, and that TV got down to about 900 to 1,000 last year.
Yep.
During discounts. So
if Sony ever decides to bring VRR, which
they
removed then brought back, and then we'll see when they do it.
Well, there was some confusion with that. This seems like they're not going to remove it overall.
They haven't added it.
They haven't added. They got to put it through a firmware update.
They said they will add it, but they still haven't.
Yeah. So that's what my advice would be. If you can wait a few months, wait, because you're going to see price drops on probably the TV you would buy right now anyway. And you might be able to go up a model if you have a budget at 800.
Wasn't CX like $2,000 last year at one point?
Yeah, the CX has seen some drops because the C11 is going to be coming out in like I think 5 or 6 months. Like midway through this year, they'll have the C11.
You could, for 800 right now, you could get the LG NanoCell 85 or 90, and that has everything you need for next gen support.
Yep,
that has 4K 120 refresh, variable refresh rate. So if you're not tied to the QLED from Samsung, that would be the one you could get right now.
Yeah, I think next year we'll probably start moving to more attainable 8K models. So you might start seeing that roll out, which would be nice. Get some of those under like 1500, and then you'll start seeing a lot of people hopefully pick them up. Let me go to some of the super chats here before I move into our first topic here. Swift Miles says, simple question. What is the worst RPG?
Quest 64.
Oh, I was thinking Quest 64 for a minute. Yeah, it was like one of the only RPGs on that system too.
It made me very angry.
I don't know. I think you could consider it an RPG, but Virtual Highlight on the Saturn, that's the worst video game of all time.
It might have been bad, but didn't that introduce the idea of randomly generating maps in games?
Yes, but if you fucking start out the game and like a tree bites you.
Yeah, I'm not saying that makes it amazing, but I don't know. It had its place.
The giving trees just had enough.
64.
Just bites you.
I wasted a whole freaking, I think 3 weeks of my money to get that game. Like
I rented it for a weekend, and it was a disappointing weekend.
I'm talking about 3 weeks of renting. That's how much I barely made any money back then. It took me like a week to get just the money to rent it, or it took me weeks just to get the money to rent it. I was so pissed. I hate that game.
Yeah, but that was when like everything, like if you just got the 64, everything was amazing. So you were like trying to explain to yourself why the game you just rented was actually good, even though it was bad. That being Quest 64.
I tried so hard to like that game, man. I was like, no, he's gonna grow up and maybe he's gonna get, and it's gonna get better. No, it just sucks throughout the whole time. It's just never good.
Rich says, love the Spawncast. What was each of yours favorite or first ever game system?
Atari.
NES.
NES, yeah.
Atari.
Yes.
For me, mine specifically, NES. The Atari was my parents.
Yeah, same.
Fish fan, RGT. 1, any good Gma food this week? 2, what's the odds of that Little Caesar wrecks you for the rest of the weekend?
The Little Caesars is already doing its job. No, I didn't see Grandma this week. I'm going over there this next week, though. So I'll get some food then.
Matthew says, I bought Ski Sniper.
Good.
Was that nine copies, Nate?
No, you didn't.
Is it on sale right now, Nate? Is it on sale?
I don't know. I hope not. Even if it's $1.99, it's too much.
I feel like I
don't
should
waste your money on it.
just to verify.
No.
Console Gamer says, guest question. This is for Jake. N64 GameCube.
Oof.
Hold up. Be careful.
I really love both of those.
Be very careful what you say here, man.
Don't influence the answer, OJ.
Well, I'm gonna say I have a complete N64 collection.
There you go. My man.
Yeah, it's gotta be the N64. But it's such a hard choice. I love both of those systems so much.
Not a hard choice. You guys are blinded.
We lost him.
You guys are blinded by like the
fantastic games.
The 15 to 20 great games on there, and then the rest of the nonsense.
I play Pokemon
12
Snap
frames
probably every
per
other night.
second.
I'll do that thing all the way through.
You have
I don't want to hear any of you N64 people complain about frames per second in games. Don't ever complain about frames per second. I don't want to hear, or you guys are frauds. Every single one of you.
Just because Quest 64 hurt you, don't take it out on the system.
I'm just saying, y'all always bitching about frame rates in games, but you guys sit here talking about N64 is the greatest, the crappiest frame rates out of the system.
PS1 games had shitty frame rates too. Does that mean the system was a bad system? No. It's just indicative of the times.
Oh, here we go.
PS1 had a lot of turn-based RPGs.
I love seeing OJ get all worked up. It's my favorite thing on his streams.
I don't care. You guys that's fraudulent. Don't complain about frame rate anymore then. Y'all out here like N64.
You have a complete 64 collection?
Yeah.
Wow.
Damn.
That's pretty good. Is it boxed or just cartridges?
Nope, it's carts. It's
okay, yeah, that's fine.
Probably hard to you're not gonna be able to see it because they're stacked at the very bottom of those shelves underneath those Wii games.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, yeah.
But yeah, that was my
boxed.
first collecting goal was to get that.
Nice. Yeah, it's impossible. Those boxes are just disintegrate. So
no, that's actually really dope though, Randall. That's really cool. Like a complete N64 collection.
Thanks, bro.
That's awesome.
Let's go to Ben says, so happy for OJ and his family. Congrats.
Thank you. I appreciate that, guys. You guys have been showing me hella love in the chat, so I'm just excited. She should be here around March or April for those wondering. So
nice.
Yay.
Nick says, "Can you get Mighty Keith on for an episode?" We will try, but I told Evan next week because that's the last episode for the 200 for his shirt that we won't have anyone brand new on here. We can have returning guests, so I'll at least give him next week, and then we'll. What's that?
What about Chief Keef? He likes video games. He got all that shit in his house. Have you ever seen him? He's got like arcades and shit.
Let's get Chief Keef and Mighty Keef.
Oh boy,
Get both of them.
Shinru says, "Evening, everyone. Do companies like Limited Run and I Am 8-Bit have a future from games that go digital when people want a physical copy? Also, will 8 to 16-bit indie games continue past our generation?" Digital people. Yes, I do think Limited Run and I Am 8-Bit will have a future.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's questionable whether PlayStation and Xbox will be physical beyond this generation. I mean, I think there's a lot of evidence that suggests it'll be all digital next gen. But hey, man, as long as Nintendo's making cartridges, or little cards, they'll be fine.
I do think the 8 to 16-bit indie games will continue past the generation. Yeah, I think they're actually getting more and more popular now with developers. So
yeah.
Then Jeffrey Grubb says Hitman 3 is for cool people who are creative and smart and attractive, so it makes sense that you wouldn't like it.
Damn. We can't all have
said JK.
hair like you, Jeff.
Oh, no,
I give that super chat 3 out of 5.
I mean, 60 out of 100 or 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10.
The worst grading scale, 1 to 5. Who does that? Like, you can't count up. You got
They do
10
that in
fingers.
Australia.
Why
It's
you
an
count to
Australian.
5? That doesn't make sense.
I have to
It's an
tell you guys
Australian
the story real quick.
Uh-oh.
And I knew I was going to have to tell you this at some point, John. So the reason I'm not typing in the chat right now is because I'm hidden on Spawnwave's channel. Because I sent a 1 out of 5 super chat once. I remember, I'll never forget, it was last summer. Me and my girlfriend were hanging out at our apartment. And we were drinking a little bit. And I thought it was really funny at the time. I sent a super chat that said something along the lines, I don't remember exactly what, but I said something along the lines of how I love the shape of the Joy-Cons because they like match your armpit and you can tickle yourself really easily with them. But you just like skimmed it over and were like, you can tickle yourself. And then I'll never forget what you said. It's burned in my memory forever. You said, some super chats are better than others. And then I was never appeared on your channel again.
Oh my god.
We can
Oh my God,
unhide
that's
you.
such a burden to get off the chest. I have to say.
You know that dumbass super chat a while back ago?
So whoever just had that 3 out of 5, it's not bad, honestly. You shouldn't don't beat yourself up about it.
We can unhide you on the channel. You came on here and told us the story.
That's probably a first, right?
Yes, it is. There's been a lot of weird things on this podcast. That was still the first one of that. So.
That's true.
Christopher says, "Why is Cuphead not on Game Pass?"
A good question.
That is a very good question. I don't know.
Because Microsoft doesn't want to pay to have it on Game Pass. And it sells so well on Switch, and I guess they don't really see a reason to give studio that developer any money. Yeah, studio. So throw it up there. So that's probably
Just buy
why.
the game. Who cares if it's not on Game Pass?
It's not the question, OJ.
I don't care. Just buy it. It's such a good game. Everything doesn't got to be on Game Pass. It's a great game. You can just buy it. Who cares?
Dan
Okay,
says,
being rational.
"Dan says go Bills." Okay.
It's gonna be a good game tomorrow, man. I can't wait.
Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes.
Also, unfortunately, Ski Sniper is not on sale. It's $4.99.
Ooh, even better.
$4.99. Yeah.
Yeah, even
Low-key,
price
how
sale.
cool would it be if Mahomes won
$100.
another Super Bowl at his age. Started going down the Brady route.
So let's go over to Xbox Live. We'll start with Xbox Live. All right, because this was like 12 hours of mayhem online for Xbox Live Gold, doubling in price. Well, they didn't actually say $120. They said $60 for 6 months, and that's kind of how they left it, because they took away the 12-month option, just so everyone could do the math and figure it out. You know, they didn't actually have to write it out. So they went up to 120. The backlash online was fierce. It was ugly. There was like a solid 6 hours where it was just nonstop. It trended on Twitter, and then Later on that
Cute.
night, what was this like? I think for me it was midnight. It was midnight on Friday. It was late. They put out a whole thing updating saying that they're not going to do that, and then they decided, oh, we're also going to do free to play games that won't be behind the paywall anymore, because that was brought up every single time alongside of that price increase. Anyone who talked about it also mentioned that. So that's been something on people's minds for a while now.
They didn't just revert it. They tweeted, "We had a bad day." Oh, I wonder why.
So the weird thing is they act like it was like an accident. They've been plotting this for a while. Wow, they had cards go out to stores. They had marketing ready. They had the $60 for 6-month cards showing up on Reddit after people were taking pictures of it at GameStops and stuff. This was a bad day for Microsoft. Like it was not good.
I mean, this is one of those cases where it looks good on paper, but when you actually put it out into the wild, you realize how bad the initiative truly was.
How does it look good on paper?
I was about to say, if I was
it looks good on
and I
paper
looked at it, I'd be like, wait a
for
minute.
their wallets.
No, it looks great on paper if you're a business like Microsoft, because you're going to say, we're going to raise this price. We are now going to shift over millions of people who are going to look at the value of Xbox Live Gold and say, I may as well upgrade to Game Pass. Exactly what Microsoft wants you to do. And there's going to be the stubborn people who will remain with Gold, and they're not going to cancel those subscriptions, because we see it with gym memberships. People don't go to the gym, but their membership is still active, or they have GameFly and they have the game sitting on their desk for 7 months. They're still handing over $15 a month. So Microsoft financially is saying, we're going to make a lot of money because you dumbasses are too stupid to cancel. And you probably have auto renew. We're going to keep charging you now $120 a year. And for those who actually thought of it, they're going to say, I'm going to upgrade to Game Pass. But the second they put that message out there, people looked at it and say, whoa, wait a damn minute. You're not getting away with this. And it was good. The consumer actually called them for their bullshit, and Microsoft had to retreat immediately. They didn't even have time to say, whoa, what's going on? Just had to say, revert, let's go, reverse course. And we're going to announce something that we were going to announce in another 6 months. We're going to drop the paywall for free-to-play games, kind of to make it look like, okay, we need a buffer. So Microsoft started the day terrible, and yet they somehow ended the day looking better than they were the day before.
I don't know about that. I don't know if I'd go that far, because now we all know what's going on here. We've seen them.
I agree. It's like they're going to do this again at some point. You know what I mean? They're not doing it now, but they've shown their hand. I was saying that when we first got here, it reminds me of when they announced, the Xbox One was going to be online only right at launch, and then they got all that backlash, and the PS4 took the lead, and now it's like, again, not everyone has their Xbox Series X yet that wants to get it. And they're doing another move that's showing that they'll probably do this at some point during the console's life cycle. And now maybe people might want to buy a PS5 instead. It just seems like a really weird time for them to do this regardless.
I think, like Netflix and Hulu and all that stuff, that goes up like all the time, right? Like Netflix just had a price
once a year.
Yeah. Netflix is yearly.
And it went up like $5 a month or something. Something like pretty much the same, I guess, cost as Xbox Live. But I guess the question is, what does Xbox Live offer in return for that price increase? And they didn't really offer you anything. They didn't give you a reason to get excited about it. Like, they didn't say, we're going to add 2 extra free games a month that you can play, or we're going to give you something more, right? Yep. Another tier of content or something. They just said, oh, we're just jacking the price up $60.
We're already questioning why we have to pay for it in the first place, and then they're like, "Oh, now we're gonna double it." It's like, well,
but that's where it's that 4D. That's where it's that 4D chess move. It's that they want to make Gold not look like a good value, to make Game Pass look like a better value, so that you upgrade to Game Pass Ultimate.
Do you know how you
maneuver that you're doing here?
Just get rid of Gold. That's just like, hey, my right foot's better than my left. Let me shoot myself in the left foot to make my right foot look better.
I figured it out. I figured it out. Here's how you sell people on Game Pass. You know how you do it? You make good games. Oof. And then you put it on Game Pass. And then you go,
true.
you don't have to buy this game. You just sign up for Game Pass.
I'm just really surprised at how many people were defending. They're like, they're just trying to sell Game Pass. Like, that's why they're doing this. It makes sense. I support the decision. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You guys are drinking some strong Kool-Aid. Like, if you're going to want to promote Game Pass and stuff like that, like with the subscription, throw in a free month of Game Pass or something like that so they can try it out and realize that they like that better. And then they can cancel or forget to cancel. And then they, do both. It's just, there are multiple ways that they could have gone about it versus, kind of exposing themselves of being like, oh, this is kind of grimy. And then be like, oh, sorry, we didn't know it was going to be grimy. We didn't know you were going to take it this way.
It's weird the timing on this, right? In the long run, now it's better because of their mistake for people right now. So there's a lot of people who don't have to pay to play games like Fortnite or any other free to play games. But to do a price increase on this scale, if it was like a $5 difference, like what Netflix does or other streaming service, okay, that could probably be overlooked. There'd be some complaining, but it's $5 at the end of the day. But right now, when people are hurting and video games are like one way of kind of taking your mind off of a lot of issues right now, to then say, okay, we're going to double the price on everything. This is just not a good time to do that in general. Maybe it waited until the world's a better, healthier place again. But right now, when video game, I'm not saying double the price. I wouldn't even do it then. It's just a different discussion now when this is such a big, like the more people are playing games now because there's nothing to do, and that's great. But doing this to people who are playing, online or use the gold features or who just play, casually Fortnite or anything like that on there, it's just not good business. But now, because of the bad business, we have that, consolation good business. So I guess there is a positive at the end of the day. But still, it wasn't a good way to get to that solution, and I don't support what they were trying to do.
I'm surprised that no one at Microsoft at the Xbox division said anything. Like, it seems very odd that everyone was just like, oh, this will work. We'll just aggressively jack up the price. No one will care. It's just
everyone cared.
I have to imagine someone there was like, this probably isn't a good idea. But then they were like, well, we got to start moving people to Game Pass Ultimate.
No,
we have to.
This is a decision made by Suits. And these Suits' only goal is to make more money. And that's what they view. They view the financials of, if we have this many active gold memberships. If we get 50% of them to upgrade to Game Pass Ultimate, we're going to make this much more money. And if those remaining millions stay with gold after we jack up the price, we're going to make this much more money. This was a financial move that backfired.
Well, hold on.
Every business is going to do this.
Well, hold on. But Phil Spencer's in charge of Xbox.
Phil Spencer doesn't necessarily have to greenlight a price hike on something like Xbox Live Gold. This can be middle management. Not everything is going to come across his desk.
Something that could damage
something this caliber. I think
this is pretty serious. I can't believe he wouldn't have been like looking at this.
I mean, we can assume it did, but we can't say it's 100% certain that Phil Spencer put his name at the bottom of the sheet to say go with this on Friday morning.
I mean, it seemed
but
very
he had to approve it.
I would think so. Like, it seems really weird that.
Remember, he's the head of the Xbox division, yes, but he does have people who work under him who decisions will go to.
Right, but okay. I'm not saying that he made that decision, but at some point in time, somebody be like, "Hey, Philly boy, we're gonna jack up the price. We're gonna make it twice as high." And I don't think they would go and do it without him approving that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand there's layers and tiers, but he's at the top of the mountain pretty much, so everything would have to go through him.
But at that point, you have to put your trust in your employees, right? Like to make the right decisions. And if you're surrounded by a bunch of company yes men, that it's like that no one pulled this idea up and said, whoa, hold on a minute, we can't do this. This is bad. This is bad business. Obviously, no one did that, and it got to Phil's desk, and Phil basically would have said, hey, are you guys good with this? We're doing this. You sure about this? And everyone's like, yeah, this is great. And he signs off on it. There you go. It's done. It's a done deal. I mean,
that's the thing. Are we really going to fall under the illusion that because of the backlash that no one internally on yesterday came back and said, what the fuck are you guys doing? Of course that happened. Someone internally looked at the decision and said, back the truck up. You guys fucked up. And it could have been Phil said this and said, yo, Bob, what the fuck did you do today? I mean, back the fucking truck up. We're canceling this, and we have to announce something now earlier.
I feel bad for those people because there was probably 1 or 2 people that were like, "You guys we're gonna do this. This isn't something that." And I honestly feel like maybe they felt like they were going insane. I feel like there were a couple people that weren't on board with this. I mean, and once all the backlash happened, they're kind of like,
Microsoft,
I told you so.
Microsoft, they do mostly a good job at reading the room and understanding, that the current landscape of things. But sometimes, and they've done this before, this is not the first time this has happened, that they'll just come out with just an absolute decision or something that everyone's just like, what the fuck was that all about? What are you guys doing? You guys clearly don't get it. Like the amount of money that they make in a year. I mean, they make trillions of dollars every year. We're not talking billions of dollars. I mean, they make so much money that, you can't even process the amount of money that they make every year. It doesn't compute to the average person, right? So sometimes they just make these decisions that are just really astounding to me. And this was one of them. And unfortunately, it fell through the cracks for them. But the good part is, people complained about this, and people's voices were heard. Right, this wasn't we'll look at it in 6 months or whatever. This was a shit. We got to revert this back right now and give them a little extra. So they made the right choice, and a lot of people, people's voices were heard on this one. I think it was a good lesson for them in the end.
Now, on the flip side, isn't it amazing the amount of backlash this saw in the immediate, and yet everyone was silent when Take-Two and Sony came out and said, we're charging $70 a game and you're not seeing any benefits or extras from it?
No, I said something because they're still doing microtransactions in NBA. That was the first game to do it. I laughed at it.
But I think it also has to do with the power statistics.
Oh, I don't know. I'm going to be annoyed at it.
Yeah, I mean,
I think I heard a lot of people upset about the price.
But the difference is that there is a justifiable MVG. There's a quantity to it. Okay, you're getting better frame rates. You're getting better resolution. You're getting a better quality product. This is just you get Xbox. Xbox Live is more expensive. There was no benefit to it, and they doubled it. This was a $10 price.
Yeah, if they went to $120.
If they went to 120, then people would have been like, "Okay, hell no, I'm done." But they doubled the price here
because that price doesn't go into the developers' pockets, right? So it just goes to the publisher. So I mean,
they're
getting richer. The publishers are getting richer. The developers aren't getting paid anymore. So no, I'm not on board with that.
I mean, I don't think any of us are going to disagree with you on that. I think we've talked about this last year sometime where we'd said I feel like it'd be more justified if the developers and the teams were getting that money increase as well. We would feel better about it. I think again, it's like the analogy, the analogy where they say if you want to cook a frog, you don't just throw it into hot water. If you want to do it in a humane way, which there is really no humane way, right? Is you put them in the water while it's room temperature, and then you slowly heat it up before when they realize it's too late. I think it's kind of one of those scenarios where it's the incremental. Evan, gosh.
The spirit leaves the body.
Rise in price in North America. It saw a 50% rise in Europe. They doubled the cost of games in Europe when they decided to charge $70 a game, and people were silent on this matter.
I agree with you. The European thing, the European gamers were not silent. They were very upset, and I know a lot of European gamers. There's a lot of people that come to my streams that are European, and they were all very mad. Man. The problem, though, is once again what goes back to what I've been saying. A lot of times, people sit there and they'll cry and whine and complain, and then support the product. Everybody that I saw online that cried and whined and complained about PlayStation 5 games being that price went out and bought the PlayStation 5 games at that price. So shut the hell up, okay? So then don't talk anymore because you supported what you hated or what you said was so bad. So that's what it comes down to.
I mean, the price increase is interesting. I mean, because in different regions, it changes. Like in Australia, right? Demon's Souls cost $130 to buy, right? I mean, that's ridiculous because of the $10 US price increase. So, yeah, I mean, I think in different countries, it definitely means different things to different people. $10 in the US, we're like, it's not a big deal. It's just cost of doing business. No worries. But yeah, in different countries, that $10 increase can be significant.
I have two quick things. I know over this whole last generation, we've talked about when's that $70 going to happen? When's that increase going to jump? Who's going to be the first to do it? And I think the hope was if this $10 does happen, that yes, it goes to the development costs of covering what would be extra DLC or microtransactions, the stuff that we don't have to pay for extra. We just pay the extra $10 and it all equals out somewhere. And just take notice of the games this year and throughout this console generation that come out at $70 and then still on top of that offer microtransactions, out the ass, offer DLC, just a bunch of extra stuff that may not be necessary, that is just trying to get even more out of you. And I think those are the games and companies that we should take note of that are doing stuff like
Collector's edition that comes with cloud.
You're right. And the other thing is one of the reasons I love how powerful social media can be sometimes is the example of what just happened with Xbox. If this had happened 15 years ago, right, they would have gone through with it because there's no verbal way to get the backlash out there. This happened, got backlash and changed within the same day because everyone was able to speak up on a public platform saying we don't like this, and then they said, oh, okay, we can see what our fan base actually wants, let's get this fixed. And I think that's pretty powerful. Does it need to happen in other circumstances if it gets out of hand with the $70? Absolutely. But this is just showing how powerful and how much of a voice that the people who are buying these products actually have now. And I think that is a testament to people actually, the consumers getting something that they want better. And I'm really, that was really impressive yesterday to see that. That was just a good example of it.
What do you think over there, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I understand like that it was a great thing that they flipped their decision and stuff, but at the same time, they kind of had to, right? It's like that was to benefit them more than, because they're trying to sell their console. They're trying to, compete with Sony in a new generation. If they didn't address this right away, if they let this sit for even a few days, all that backlash that would build up, it wouldn't be this quick thing that we're going to keep talking about probably for a little while, right? But if they didn't go back on it, then it would have blown up so much more. So yeah. I kind of appreciate what they did, but at the same time, I don't love it, I guess.
They almost hurt themselves because they tried to push it out on a Friday on the way out the door that morning. Like they're like, we're good. See you guys next week on Monday. And then somebody, had to run back into the office or boot up the work PC at like 9:00 at night Pacific time just to type up an update to the blog. And
this was an internal discussion all day from the announcement timing. The second they dropped the morning PR, they were internally discussing everything because of the backlash, and they said, how do we have to approach this? There was a lot of internal discussion due to the negativity. And that's good that they did view social media and said, guys, this is not going over well. What do we do? And internally, they did. They sat there and said, what the hell was this decision? This wasn't a case of everyone just signed off on it at a higher level. Even some of them were taken aback saying, wait, what is going on here? And they came out and were responsive and said, okay, we're going to do right by the fans. Is their goal still to increase the amount of money they're going to make? Yes. Are they going to go about it in a different way now? Yes. This is a company who's going to make a couple more acquisitions this year, and they need to find revenue to make this happen. And their primary focus, no matter how long it takes people to grasp this concept, their focus now as a company of the Xbox division is to sell Game Pass. Xbox is just a conveyance for you to gain access to Game Pass. They want to put Game Pass on phones, smart TVs, PCs, and the Xbox brand, but they are not here to sell the Xbox anymore. Live Gold is a relic of their past. Game Pass is the future, and whether we like it or not, Live is going to fade away. It may take a year, it may take 2 or 3 years, but it is going to fade, and this was their way, being a little too aggressive with it, of trying to devalue it in the eyes of consumers to make you go to the service they want you to invest in, which is Game Pass.
Well, one other thing that I noticed, and this is conjecture, I'd be interested to see what you guys think about this, but John, you mentioned that they tried to slide it in right before the weekend, and obviously what I noticed was they hadn't really had any Xboxes for sale in January, but then Thursday and Friday, everyone was dropping consoles, right? And when that happens, what happens to Twitter? Like that's everything that comes up, right? Like it gets blown up in the gaming community. So it seems like that might have been premeditated, where everyone's looking over here. Let's just slide this in real quick.
Yep. It sounded like they didn't want to quite put the focus on it. They were just like, all right, we'll put it out on Friday, and then on Monday it'll all blow over. It'll be all right. And it was. I think the backlash was they were expecting some, right? They couldn't have been like, we're gonna raise prices and everyone's gonna be excited. They were gonna expect at least something to happen.
I mean, it was unanimous, and I mean, I think it's clear that they don't know what to do with Xbox Live Gold anymore. Like they don't know what to do with it. Like whether they should just make it free. Because, we've heard stories about that, right? Or whether they should check up the price and then try to migrate everyone off. I mean, why not just be honest and say, look, Xbox Live Gold, its days are numbered. You guys need to start moving to Game Pass and offer incentives to go to Game Pass, which they currently do, right? They give you $1 a month for the first 3 months. Just keep offering things like that.
Is that still a thing?
I think so. I think
it's pretty easy to get on Game Pass Ultimate.
But you don't think that would be met with resistance as well if they came out in May and said, we're getting rid of Xbox Live Gold, you have free to play games, no longer require the live paywall, you can play Fortnite for free, but if you want to play our games, be it Gears of War 5 or whatever, you have to have Game Pass Ultimate.
It would be met with resistance, but if you gave 1 year of lead time, like when the eShop goes away or the Wii Shop goes away, people are pissed. Like I hate when the Wii Shop goes away because I can't play the freaking Gradius Rebirth games anymore, right? I hate that stuff. But I mean, if you give people enough lead time, they're expecting it, right? Like there's always going to be resistance and people that are pissed off. But I think if you do it that way, it's
tiers through Game Pass though. Like what if you had tiers that did include the first party games and tiers that didn't? Stuff like that to make it cheaper that way. Just ways to get people over. But really, I mean, they just got to be a bit more patient because eventually they're going to put out games that are high quality from their studios. It's just going to take some time. And when they drop these games on Game Pass, like let's say Perfect Dark comes out and people realize they don't have to spend $60, they'll probably subscribe to Game Pass to play it. And then they'll have the Netflix effect where they just forget that they have a subscription to Game Pass and it'll just stay on their card. So really, Microsoft just needs to get these studios in gear and get the production going on these games. And that's how they're going to get people over to Game Pass, not doubling live. What they should be doing is going the opposite direction. I was hoping they would put pressure on the other companies and just get rid of gold, just free online. That's it. And then now you have Sony and Nintendo like, oh, well, we're the ones charging for online right now. What happened? That's what I was hoping. Instead, they almost had Sony raise. I bet you Sony looked at that and said, well, $80 for PlayStation Plus is $40 cheaper. Let's raise it $20 and find $800 million this year by doing nothing. That was my concern, is prices were going to start going up across the board just because Microsoft did it.
I mean, midway through the PS3's life cycle, they had free. It was free, and then they said, wait, why is Xbox getting all this money? Let's do it too. And then they said, hey, you have to start paying for this. And then they came up with their own service. So
it was optional for PS Plus. You could still play online for free, but they just added the optional.
That's
PS
right.
Plus.
You're right on.
Then they went to PS4, and then
because when they got to the PS4, they said, "All right, now we're 100% doing this."
Yeah,
and it's weird. I don't even know. Let's say Xbox stopped it tomorrow, right? They said, "All right, no gold. It's free to play online." Which, when you really think about it, I'm already paying for the game that has these. I should be able to just play it, but whatever. I get it, server costs and all that. It would be interesting to see what Sony does. Does Sony say, "Nah, you pay for it still," or do they say, "All right, we got to have some good business, hype here. Let's get rid of it." I honestly think they wouldn't. I think Sony would not get rid of it if Xbox does.
I mean, in honesty, if you could say I'm wrong if you feel so, but I feel like if they're so wanting to have that money, right, from people who forget about the subscription, instead of causing such a spectacle where they double it, you could have still incrementally increased it and people would have dropped out from that and switched over anyway. I feel like that would have had the same effect, probably not attract as much negative attention. Like people probably would have been, belly aching and stuff like that if it was like a $10, $15 increase. But doubling it, I think it's kind of like bargaining gone wrong, where you create a counter offer offer that's too low or too high, and it just people like back out of it. I don't know. It is good that they obviously backtracked, but again, like I just think that they approached it the wrong way. If they're trying to push people over, I think it
$60 more a year. Yeah, if it was like
it just didn't need to be double. Like if you wanted people to give up hope and be like, this is only going to get more expensive, I might as well just switch over for 15, which that's going to increase too. That's only a matter of time, obviously, but like there's just other ways you could have approached about it. So it's just messy in total.
Mm-hmm.
It was quite interesting. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we're in a world now where Nintendo charges for online even. So I don't know who would actually stop charging first. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it'd be Microsoft, but
Microsoft would probably be the first, especially if they went a model that had gold just transitioned into a Game Pass subscription for you. If you had 3 years of gold, you're going to get Game Pass for that 3 years and even one-to-one exchange. And I think they would continue to have that. Sony is making billions off PlayStation Plus. They're not going to just say one day, hey, let's give up that $10 billion revenue because Microsoft is no longer charging for online.
We expect Nintendo to even raise their price eventually. They'll probably go up to $30 a year.
When they have something to offer.
If they add Nintendo 64.
Yeah. We'll announce it alongside Mario Party Online. It'll be great.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, if they added more games with more online capability, or if they had a Splatoon 3, I'd pay it, sure. But again, it's going to come down to objective, what you find important paying that increase for.
So I think I think so. The prices will go up. That's why I was hoping Microsoft would go in the opposite direction. But I guess it's all back to normal now. Basically, if you just cut Friday out, nothing happened for the prices. So I don't know. A lot of wasted money and time for Microsoft, I guess, for printing up all the marketing and apparently spending months and months coming up with this plan that didn't work out. That was ruined in about 12 hours. Evan, we have any Discord questions over there?
How long before GameStop shares tank again?
I'm gonna say 2 weeks.
Ooh.
That's oddly specific.
Okay. 2-ish weeks.
So where are we going? Middle of February?
2-ish weeks. And I don't even know if they'll tank.
Yeah, what do we define tank?
I think they'll stabilize. I think they'll more stabilize than anything else. I don't think they'll tank to $10 or something.
No, that took years for them to crash from like $40 to $4.
Yeah.
So, but what would they stabilize at?
I'm gonna say they stabilize at, I'll say north of 40 until they actually start doing something. Because they haven't done anything yet. Who knows? They could do something. I don't know. They could become the Amazon of video games. There you go. And they're in the hundreds. People need to hold, okay? Okay, what's the other Discord question, Evan?
We have a guy wondering if any of us have seen or run into issues with the PS5 shutting off while in rest mode. His apparently keeps shutting off in rest mode, so when he turns it back on, it keeps giving him an error code.
Oh, that's interesting. I wonder why I would be doing that. Turning off in rest mode. I remember my Wii used to overheat in rest in like its little rest mode. That thing got hot. Like it would just shut off sometimes, but I don't know. The PS5 in rest mode?
PS5's been fine in rest mode
a lot, and I haven't run into that ever.
The weirdest thing, I mean, which is fine, is it updates sometimes in rest mode. So when you turn it back on, you have to restart your game. It won't like just pick up right like where you put it on rest mode at. But that's the worst I've ever experienced, and that's nothing,
Now, what's another Discord question, Evan?
This is this is like the last question. We have a shout out after it. Cool. I guess ideal world. If EA were to just like vanish or bankrupt or whatever, what company do you want to see get at least one of their IPs and do something with it?
One of their IPs and do something? Oh, that is a good question.
2K with their NFL license.
Absolutely. NFL 2K5, greatest NFL game.
And it was like $20.
Now, let's have Rockstar do it.
It was, yes.
EA has Mass Effect.
They do have Mass Effect.
Top 3 franchises or top 5 franchises of all time. So I would like anybody.
Yeah, where do we send? That's the big question. Where do we send Mass Effect?
Just take Mass Effect away from these guys.
Honestly, in reality, like the people who I guess leave EA because of the bankruptcy might just reform and look for.
Let's see Capcom do Dead Space.
Oh, yeah, that could be cool.
You know what? Actually, that'd be a good fit. I think that could be a good fit. I'm down for that.
I'd be okay with that, right?
I'm good for that. Mass Effect, just go to anyone. Could be
Knights of the Old Republic.
Knights of the Old Republic?
Oh.
Yeah.
Who would do Knights of the Old Republic?
Well, They don't own
Ubisoft
Knights of the
under
Old
Lucas.
No,
Republic.
but like
Isn't
now
that-
I'm
isn't
talking
that
about.
Bioware?
Yeah, but where do we? Well, that's who's like done it. But like, where do we send? Who would you have do Knights of the Old Republic now that we're on that topic?
It'd have to be like Obsidian or somebody like that.
You can do Obsidian, yeah. In Exile? It's basically, I think it'd be someone with Microsoft probably doing it.
Yeah, it'd have to be somebody.
Huh.
I mean, same thing like with like with Mass Effect. I'd be completely down with Mass Effect going over to Xbox and then one of the teams there.
Someone said Mass Effect of Retro Studios.
No.
You actually wanted to come out. Don't you?
I do want it to come out. A Mass Effect senior RPG on the way.
Retro Studios hasn't made anything in like, I mean, y'all.
OJ, it's only been like 7 years.
Yo, I hope Metroid Prime 4 just blows the doors off.
Okay, then
I hope
I'd be
so.
more confident with
Oh,
it.
it
but
needs to. Oh man,
I mean, it needs to at this point.
it
Shit.
has to. Oh my god.
I can't put my faith in such a god tier franchise like Mass Effect. I can't put it in the hands of somebody who hasn't made a game in
Yeah,
a
that's true.
freaking
That's true.
decade, dude.
That's
Like
a
you
good
got to
point.
put it in the hands of somebody that knows, like it'd be like Obsidian, or it'd be like somebody that knows how to make that style of like looter shooter or something like that. You know, like that's done it. You know, like Metroid Prime is not Mass Effect. It's not even close.
That's
There's
true.
nothing like. You know,
Yeah.
But they
nothing.
both take place somewhere in space. They're the same
Yeah.
game. They're in
Sam-
space.
Samus doesn't talk. Like, Samus doesn't speak at all. And when she did, people
Well, in
got
that one game, she did.
Oh yeah, the one time she spoke, people were like, "Oh, she's a woman. Shut up,
Samus.
shut up, woman. Shut up. Women aren't allowed to have feelings."
Seriously, and I like other end, but you know, whatever.
Me too,
you know,
OJ.
I'm
Me
not
too.
gonna get into that. That's
My
gonna
girl.
It's gonna cause a whole riot in the chat for some people. So all right.
Who cares?
Ooh,
All right,
someone said Mass
Let 'em
Effect to
squirm.
the Bungie. I don't know. That's
There have to be rules and regulations. That I would me, John, Jordan, we'd have to personally talk to them. I give it to them.
yeah, we'd have to oversee the whole process.
OJ wants to stand over their
Oh,
shoulder.
man.
Yeah.
No, but-
Listen, I've never been. OJ and I think were the most hurt when it came to the last Mass Effect game. So like with the new one being announced, I am so like cautiously optimistic about it. It's like unreal levels. Like one hand, yes, new Mass Effect. Like finally, like hopefully they can redeem themselves. But on the other hand, it's like, is it going to be the same problems that we had last time where no one could do this?
A sci-fi series was 1, 2, and 3. You know, they did a comedy spinoff with Andromeda, and now they're trying to now we're gonna get a brand new one. So.
Listen, you guys, I mean, I love Mass. I've gotten all the achievements on every single version of Mass Effect 1 through 3, like on both systems. It is one of my favorite, and they ruined it. They absolutely, like, Andromeda is so bad. It's not even
Yeah.
funny.
I mean, it's
how bad
funny. It's pretty funny.
Really bad. I mean, yeah, it's funny.
It is
It's funny in hindsight now because we can joke about it. When that first came out and you're sitting there and you're like, this smile is slowly going down off your face, and then the tears start happening, and you're like, what happened to my Mass Effect game?
Aw.
This was not what they promised, because after 3 we were uncertain of the future of Mass Effect, right? We wanted more, and then they're like, guys, Andromeda's coming. It's gonna be dope. We're gonna go to a different galaxy. It's gonna be crazy. And then we get it, and it's like, you guys didn't even build the game. There's nothing here.
when she pulls the gun and it's backwards, like
I just like the part where you go into the room and she just her whole head turns upside down.
you
It's
shoot
spinning.
yourself,
It's not
young
the
lady. Like, what's going on?
Oh boy! All right, so we
Give
have,
Mass Effect to Gearbox? Absolutely not. Absolutely no way. Even as a Borderlands fan, no. They cannot make any other game besides Borderlands. Any other game they attempt is
Their
not.
stage show is going to be awesome. We see all kinds of magic tricks while they're showing.
Oh, as someone who has sat in one of those at PAX and watched it happen,
Oh,
it's something else. And if they ever had the rights to Mass Effect, I'd tap out before they even announce it.
We had the RE showcase. Okay, that was this past week, and you know what? I thought it was all right. People were expecting a lot from this, right, Sean? A lot of expectations around this.
Not expectations. The only thing I said, only thing I knew was for sure was that game, and then the multiplayer bullshit.
Yeah, and we were supposed
People
to
were
get-
like, Resident Evil 1 through 3, getting an HD trilogy, there's gonna be 4 there. It was like,
4
okay.
remake, Resident Evil 4 remake.
Yeah, I thought it'd be there, man.
They did show Resident Evil Village though. We saw that, and it looks good. I right now I think I'm sold on it. And then they dropped the demo. We got Maiden, and then they showed RE-verse for some reason. I don't know. It's reverse. Okay, sure.
Yeah, they
showed
should
the
have
game.
reversed their.
It was a
direction on
shame.
that
It was
game.
a shame. We can all agree. It was kind of. It was sad. You know,
That game looks
sad 3
terrible.
minutes. Yes.
No, I was playing Resident Evil Revelations today, the raid mode, and it looks considerably better.
Did you notice that they had to shrink all the characters down to make them fit in the corridors correctly? So all the characters are like 5 foot tall.
The best thing was the gameplay they showed.
What's
Is the
wrong with being
people
5 foot?
playing. They could not play. Like no one was hitting each other in the gameplay. They showed like the guns were like shooting next to the people. I'm like, at least show good gameplay if you're gonna advertise the game.
Why do they keep trying
their
it?
feet first.
Someone there really wants to make RE Online work. Like they really
I
want to
know.
make some
Like,
versus mode
but
work.
this has been going on for decades.
But they're still trying. Someone's like, okay, this time for sure.
I don't understand why the raid mode is so good in Revelations. Just make it 4-player co-op and make a dope raid mode. Just go. I don't understand why they keep trying this online multiplayer deathmatch type of thing that they're doing.
The problem is though, if you look at it, it doesn't look good. Like visually, like it looks like there's
It's like a weird cell shade.
It has that
Yeah,
weird
yeah.
cell shading and color outlines of the characters, and just doesn't mesh well with the visual style that you look at a Resident Evil game. Because if you played even the amazingly mediocre Umbrella Core, I actually enjoy that game. Umbrella, it's not that bad.
That game's
It
trash.
had some shining moments.
That game's hot dookie. I don't know what you're talking about. Dude.
Oh, we had a very dedicated community, and we
You had,
played it
you
all.
had a couple people.
We had like 12 of us.
That game
We got
died
hardcore in
right
that
after
game.
launch. Don't try to revisionist history over here, buddy. I played it. Okay, I'm a huge RE fan, and that game was dead like a couple weeks after it came out. Man, it was done.
Lord
But we
expectations.
still played.
the problem is they showed Village and then they showed Reverse and it made it look even worse. Like it was to the point where they got to focus group this stuff, right?
Like a comic book.
I don't know if they're
No, it looks
They
like
went
Comic
from-
Zone on the Sega Genesis.
It went from
Hey.
a beautiful RE
Sounds
engine. You're like,
awesome.
wow, RE engine's incredibly
I get,
impressive.
I get to play RE-verse next week.
I'm
I will
sorry.
give the down low of how bad this game is in 6
What are
days.
you playing it on? The N gauge?
You got to remove the battery.
Shut up, Fringe.
Oh no, yeah, it didn't look good. But what did look good was Resident
The
Evil Village.
Division 2?
It looks very good. Village looks good. But then they also they shadow dropped that Maiden demo. Jake, you get a chance to play that?
I did not play the demo yet. No.
It is completely worth playing. It's very short. It's like 3 gigabytes, which on the PS5, the PS5 continues this really turn around with the download speed. Took like 30 seconds to download this thing, which was awesome.
Wow.
Fired up. It's like, I mean, this thing's like half an hour long, if that. Probably less than that,
What?
right? It's short. And I was
Yeah, I think I beat it
walking-
in 13 minutes.
I was walking around taking screenshots and video. I was getting all these angles and stuff, and then I finished, and it was like 23 minutes. Something. I was like, that was it.
Would you say
No.
it's very similar? Because I haven't had a chance to play it yet. Would you say it's very similar to like the demo we got for Resident Evil 7
Yes.
before it came out, where it's not part of
Yeah.
it, it's
Yeah.
just a little teaser?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of not the kitchen. Kitchen was the VR demo. It was it's like the RE7 demo where you're the guys walking into the
Yeah.
house through the show. It's similar to that. You're going into an area that will be in the full game, but the sequence is completely unrelated to the campaign.
Yes. Yep.
Did
you walk
did
around.
anyone
It's a walk
that played
simulator.
it get scared?
You know, there were
That's the
some
point,
interesting
right?
moments where they had some audio stuff going on in the game, which was interesting, where they tried to throw sounds around you, kind of.
Did they use
Like-
the dual sense to put in any sounds coming out of that speaker?
I don't think
No.
so. No, they
No.
didn't really put the DualSense on display, and that's what I think they were trying to do here was just show us how good the game is going to look natively, because everything we saw up to that point was just their stream, and the game looks like incredible on a good display. It looks like outrageously good.
Now,
What do you think the current gen or last gen, whatever you like, the PS4 and Xbox One versions are going to look like? Because it's interesting that there's no demo for those, right?
Yeah, this was a like Resident Evil said, this was like an exclusive thing for Sony apparently, and that and another demo is going to follow up in a month or two, is what they were saying. So I'm curious if the PS4 and the Xbox One get that same demo, because people are really going to look at those versions of the game. But this is certainly them saying, look how good this game looks on the PS5. Because there's no combat in it. You just walk around. You do like some very minor puzzle stuff in it. And then they have an abrupt ending kind of thing to kind of give you a feel of what's going to happen in, Village. But visually, it actually feels like next gen looking.
One thing that I've noticed, I mean, with 8 now, one, the castle or the mansion or whatever it is, like the detailing is like on another level. But it seems very similar to 7, where yes, there's like those outside moments, like they show with that big guy with like the giant hammer weapon. But it seems aside from that, you are in this castle, this mansion, like you're in like one place. And similar with 7, you are just basically in this house the whole game. I really like that. Instead of trying to like a Resident Evil 6 or a 5 or even a 4, where it's this long adventure, all these different places, they've really took it back to the core of like Resident Evil 1. There's one place you're at. It's highly detailed. There's a lot to do. There's terrors around every turn, and I think that's really interesting that they decided to scale back, and like what they're able to do with just such a small space. It makes just so much going on is impressive. And I think they announced it, unless I'm completely wrong, that this will be VR as well for 8, if not right at launch, maybe eventually.
That's
7.
really interesting to me.
No VR.
No VR for 8.
They have not announced VR.
Yeah, I was gonna say because of the PS5.
Jake, you were saying the VR, Jake? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there will be a VR mode for 8, because 7's VR mode is definitely a reason to try VR. That'll make, if you're already scared of playing the game, if it's already like jump scary enough for you as a game itself, play it in VR.
You gotta put it next
you will
to,
not want to play in VR.
I feel like that should be, maybe that's an update they'll do later.
I think it'll eventually
PSVR 2 maybe or something, because I feel like
that would be a great thing to add when they announce the PSVR 2.
Yeah. Because the current VR is very limited. The PlayStation VR, the screens are old. Like everything about it is just old, like compared to all the other headsets around it. So I'm hoping they have that PSVR 2 ready to at least show like next year, maybe, and like 2022, possibly. And then we can start hearing about updates to games we already have, like that. Maybe Horizon gets a VR thing just out of left field, something along those lines, right? But I've been alerted that Miss Click needs to play Resident Evil 2, apparently, remake.
She hasn't played any of them.
He hasn't played any of them.
Yeah.
Why are you, I literally. That's why I'm so silent.
This is where peer pressure is a good thing. Okay, Miss Click.
Well,
you need to play Resident Evil 2.
Due to the nature of my job, I can play games I've never played before, and that's the beauty of
people like
streaming
watching
games.
these games get streamed too.
Is it okay? Question though, do you know? Is it a big, for those of you who know about backseating culture? Is it a big backseating culture?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Resident Evil.
'Cause I hate cultures
people
like
will
that.
backseat the hell out of you on Resident Evil. Oh, that's coming up. Oh, I love this part. Oh,
So you telling me I just
Go back
shouldn't
in
look
this
at
room
chat?
for this.
Yeah, go
Just
back.
don't look at chat.
You gotta let them know. You gotta let them know. Don't backseat me, because it's very scripted. Resident Evil is extremely scripted with its events. It's not like a.
So it's super spoiled. They can spoil it super easily.
Yeah, it can be spoiled very easily. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's not. They're not like Resident Evil 2 isn't technically long. I mean, I guess the first time you play through it'd be longer, but the idea is you play through multiple times with different characters and different storylines for them. So
play
like,
as
Play
Like
through all
tofu.
of them in sequential order. You start out with Resident Evil Deadly Silence on the
no.
Then you move on to Resident Evil 2 on the N64.
You need to play Operation Raccoon City.
Then
Oh
you
my
play.
gosh.
Oh, stop
You
it.
can play Resident
This is the
Evil
thing,
3.
though.
I guess you could do it on.
Resident Evil 2 remake. Start with that. You can play it on your PC. That's fine. You got the nice
Yeah.
3099. Do all that, and start with that. I think that's a good one.
Oh, you start with Resident Evil Remake. You can play it on the Switch, PS4, Xbox One.
Which ones
You
are-
have to play bullshit. You have to play the original Resident Evil before you play RE Remake.
No, click.
No, we
don't
don't have
let
RE
these
remake.
people-
You gotta
I would
play
rather finish my
RE5
playthrough of
co-op.
Oh my
Cyberpunk.
gosh!
You gotta do RE5 co-ops. You can punch the boulder as well.
Just play Resident Evil 2
border.
remake. See what you think, and then go from there. You
I
can't
think
just.
already went to a sequel without the origin.
Oh, who cares?
Listen.
can
If
catch up on
if people want to see me play Resident Evil for the first time, you gotta let me know, chat. But
Resident
so
Evil 2
far, I
remake,
just
start with
don't
that.
feel like that would be good content.
Like,
It
RE
is good content. It's one of those
First
popular
time playing
franchises.
Resident Evil, and you're gonna get hella people rolling through.
We gotta do
Yeah.
Resident Evil Mercenaries 3D on the 3DS. That's a good one to stream.
Okay, I'm literally not touching a handheld.
That is a
Literally not gonna
fantastic game, though.
It was shit. At the time, it was fun. It was shit, though.
Do not listen to what John said. RE2 remake, you can play that.
RE2 remake. It's always on sale.
So
I
two,
swear it is.
4. What else? I mean,
Yo, you haven't played.
they have
you know what?
context
This is-
You don't need to play
right?
6.
You have to play the first
skip
one.
This
This
just
is
makes it sound good to me.
ridiculous.
How are we skipping over the first game?
Hold on.
This
Asinine.
podcast is
Just skip
ludicrous
six.
right now.
I just realized right now that Miss Click has never played Resident Evil 4. That
I
just
literally-
dawned on me.
Never played Resident Evil 1,
This is why I
2,
haven't gotten to it, because people
5,
always get
7.
into a civil war.
Resident Evil 2 remake, play Leon, then go to 4. Just go to 4. Skip 3. No one
Code
cares about 3. Go to 4.
Yeah, Code Veronica.
Leon.
Yeah, where's
You know
the
what?
code
No.
Veronica? This
Yeah,
is
John can't
go in
have any
sequential
order.
order.
He's skipping
What
over
about
great
the
games.
Outbreak files, guys?
Anybody else but John right now? Do not-
Resident Evil 2 remake, then go to 4.
No.
Okay.
OJ and John.
By the time you finish all that, they'll be done arguing about which one you play when. Okay.
They're skipping over great
I'm a
games.
edition pack in Japan. I need this. I love
Listen to Sean.
Oh my gosh.
Sean, give the game recommendation.
I'm trying to get her through a Resident Evil game. She fires up some of these old ones. She's making it like an hour, and she's gonna be like,
She's gonna
"What are they
quit."
calling me?"
No, you can play remakes still.
No, no,
Play the
Because
Dark
here's the
Side
thing,
Chronicles on the
She
Wii.
has nothing to base it on, so she's going to be playing games that
I
are
have other
getting
good
better.
games to base it
No,
on.
she's played other good games, and if you play this
Yeah.
blocky ass,
That's why you okay. I will concede on Resident Evil
you
remake.
never want to play Resident. You
All
guys
right.
are doing this shit.
You
for
forgot the best
her.
one.
You never want to play Resident
I
Evil
will
ever again.
concede on remake. I will
No.
concede on remake.
No,
You don't know about
You guys are
Wesker.
missing out.
If you don't know about Wesker playing Resident Evil games, you may as well not even play.
What
Click,
about
I need
you?
Click, I need you to go get a Game Boy right now and need to play Resident Evil Guided. All right.
God.
Yo, I'm about to buy this file.
I'm to lose my mind right now.
Click just Resident Evil
I'm
2
just
remake.
more confused. This is why I didn't want to bring it up, because I'm just more
Oh
confused.
my gosh.
We're just ignoring
there's nothing to
Wesker.
be confused
We're just
about.
going to ignore Wesker and the whole Resident Evil franchise.
Oh my gosh.
Madness.
Resident
Just
Evil 2
pure
remake.
madness.
Just go with that.
We're
You're
going to
not
ignore
gonna know
Barry
who the fuck
Burton.
anyone is. Yeah, you're not going to know who anyone is. You're not going to know the callback.
you should
Oh
know,
my
just watch
gosh,
the Resident
it's
Evil
fine.
movies. That's enough.
Resident Evil 2 remake right now.
I gotta watch the one.
the
What was
first
the
games.
cartoon one? No.
Oh,
Oh,
Regener.
Oh gosh. Resident Evil 2 remake is $16 on Steam right now.
But she's
She
Sean,
doesn't know
Sean,
what happened. She
Sean.
doesn't even know who the character. No, you play
Oh,
Resident
gosh.
Evil remake first.
Is a rookie. He's a rookie. He's new. That's his debut in the series. It does not matter.
You have to understand why Raccoon City's infested with zombies. He didn't
You'll
just show
figure it
up
out
and
during the freaking game. They tell
You
you.
get very acquainted with
you
Wesker
have to
later
go
on.
to the mansion. You have to see the tyrant. Otherwise, you don't know what the
I
fuck
can
the
literally
X is.
see she's getting
Look at that
less and
online.
less interested. She is not
you do
sold.
need
She's like, I'm going to Silent Hill. Screw you guys.
Okay.
Now we're going the other direction. We're
Yeah,
not helping.
we'll let her go from here with what everyone
Just
said.
skip it
Which
all.
means she's probably not going to play it now.
War.
Thanks for ruining Resident Evil for a new fan. Thank you guys drove away a new fan. All of you guys.
But if she
I'd
does
rather
play it,
have.
you won't have to go
her-
through this again.
I would
Yeah.
rather drive away a
The
new
last time.
fan
It's up
than
to you.
have someone come into Resident Evil and not know what the fuck they're doing. So you know what? That's fine.
Wait, hold on. Hold on a minute.
Just
I
watch the
don't
movies. It covers
know.
everything.
No, hold on. We let Sean.
What you made just what you
Oh,
said
wait a
makes no damn sense.
Wait a minute. We let Sean into the Hitman community with open arms here, and all of a sudden he's saying what goes where with Resident Evil.
Because I have played a Hitman game before. I at least know what's going on with it.
Do you know the whole story of why he's bald? Do you know why?
Give a fuck about the overarching
Maybe
story.
Sean
origin.
Sean.
Hot take. When I was playing the game on the Switch, I skipped all of the story bullshit because
You know,
I had to give out
barcode on the back of his head, are you?
about Agent 47. Who cares about
Yeah,
this?
he escaped from a grocery store. That's why there's a barcode on the
Who
back.
cares about this man?
Just go, Sean. Just go watch the Hitman movie. It'll get you filled in.
There's 2 Hitman movies.
Who directed it? Was it Uwe Boll?
They're both bad. No, but they're both bad.
Yeah, they're both terrible. Timothy Oliphant.
They are both really bad.
especially awful.
They're both really bad.
I'm gonna go cry now. Thank you.
It's okay.
Evan, what's our shout out for Discord?
From Snoopy, he says, so by the time you're reading this, it'll be my birthday, and I just wanted to thank you all for years of content, last year especially. Seriously, thank you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Okay. Let me go over to the super chats here before we get to our last topic of the night. GBR says, what would you guys do if I bought Microsoft and only me and MVG get to play the game? Also, hi, RG85.
That's easy. I would release that GoldenEye game that they've been sitting on.
Oh, wait a minute. I heard that was out there, but it's just password locked.
I mean, I would officially release it.
I've seen enough gameplay that knowing that I would like to actually play that. Yes, it looks good. Junior says, hey guys, cool to see you live for a change since I live in Switzerland. It's kind of difficult, but today I couldn't sleep and remembered that you were alive. Thanks for tuning in, Junior. And Cade says, Night Dive Studio remake Shadow Man.
Yep, it's happening.
Samuel says, saw Cyberpunk on PS4 is already half off. Decided to get it. It runs all right on my Pro. And Brandon says, do you guys think Outriders could bring a push or be better than Destiny 2? Everyone keeps forgetting about Outriders. I keep forgetting about Outriders. It probably won't be that good, to be honest.
Remember when they delayed it and everyone was like, what the fuck is this? what game is?
Yeah, the demo's coming out at the end of actually a month from now. The demo will be out. So there we go. I guess we'll at least get to try it.
Who gives a damn?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Veluxian says, anyone played Sense, a Cyberpunk ghost story, the game with the Twitter controversy? It's interesting enough, but load times between rooms are a bit of a drag, and you have to backtrack a lot. I have not.
I have not, but I saw it was getting a physical. So I might end up picking it up and then putting it on my kitchen table along with all the other games I buy and never fucking play.
Who's doing the physical, Sean? Jake was saying.
I don't know.
Is it a limited companies or is it going to be a regular retail?
I believe it's going to be, well, I think it's like Play Asia's going to have.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Good old Play Asia.
Yeah, there's a limited, well, there's a big box limited edition. Let's see.
Big box? What's in the big box?
Probably boobs.
What?
Go
That's
on.
what the whole controversy was. The titty based. PS Vita version is actually coming. There's like a disc, a
There's a
soundtrack,
Vita?
art book.
Oh, interesting. You right over there, Click?
Mm-hmm.
What the hell game are you talking about?
If you watch my videos, you would know about this game.
I don't have time to watch your videos. God damn.
I tried to watch. You're talking, you stop talking, and then all of a sudden the scene cut to something else. I'm like, I don't know what the hell's going on.
Sometimes. Since the Cyberpunk story was a game that got a lot of controversy because of the art style, which is like chicks with big tits, essentially, and like for some reason, when I first saw this, because the developer said, oh, we've been getting death threats, we're not going to censor the game. I was like, okay. It was Top Hat Studios. I was like, okay, whatever. I was thinking about covering it, but I was like, okay, you probably got like one dude in your inbox saying, fuck this game or whatever. And you're trying to make a big deal out of it. But then they actually posted the receipts with like several different screenshots of like people literally freaking the fuck out over the art style of this game. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with people? Like, it's not my style of game. Like, anime titties don't do anything for me. But if you like that shit, you like that shit. That's cool. Mm-hmm. So, like, crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're buying it.
Mm-hmm.
It is limited. East Asia Software is doing it.
Oh, okay. Thanks for checking on it.
Yeah, my stories usually have like a big snarkle. You take a couple.
And sometimes they stop and restart. And no cuts and added.
And Studio says Super Mario Sunshine is a better game than Super Mario 64. Fight me.
I mean, let's go, bitch. You're wrong.
It's a feisty episode. Everyone's all feisty.
He said should have Trisha Hirschberger on the podcast. Okay. Stink Gaming says, what game are you most looking forward to this year? RE8 for me.
If God of War.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, if God of War shows up.
Horizon.
Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild too.
They're both being delayed, in my opinion.
Ratchet and Clank.
Ratchet and Clank's a good one.
When is that game supposed to come out?
They've shown us so much of it. We thought it'd be out by now, to be honest.
Supposedly, well, I don't think it's February, but it's coming out this year at some point.
I feel like
I'm gonna say May. That's where I'm going with right now. Is
May.
That's what I'm
We
thinking.
saw that much about that game for it to come out in May.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm
Man.
going with May.
I'm
Returnal next.
I'm thinking certain
Underwhelming.
Pokemon games that may come out this year.
Oh,
Oh, okay,
Ooh.
okay.
Ooh.
I'm excited for the new Pokemon Snap too, but Horizon Forbidden West for sure.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
one
The new Pokemon
only-
Snap looks good so far. So.
One and only answer is clearly Balan Wonderland.
Oh gosh,
my
here we
God.
go.
Not
Wonderland.
again.
The demo.
Demo coming this week, bitches. I believe it's this week.
I only talked
Yeah,
about
28th.
this in a couple places, but what I'm doing for Pokemon Snap 2, because I have the Snap Station from Blockbuster back in the day. I'm
Mhm.
building and creating a modern age what a Snap Station in 2021 would look like. It's
Ooh.
basically going to be a Switch station, but it's going to have the old school original printer from a Snap Station built in there to print pictures out from Snap 2, and I'm going to make it look like a brand new kiosk and setup, and that's what I'm working on now. I have an actual date. I was waiting for when they're going to announce it, and hopefully we're just going to shadow drop it, so I have time to put this together. But that's my next project.
Nice.
That sounds so cool.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'm
We're
excited
getting a
for
video
it.
for that, right?
Sure.
All right.
Making plans now. Sure. Why not?
Sure, why
At
not?
least an Instagram story. People got to see.
Yeah,
that
maybe a
shit.
TikTok or two. We'll see.
TikTok or two. Bow before PC Master Race says no one was defending this, even the Xbot channels. Liquidly says sup OJ and Jordan, just wanted to say you all are appreciated and the Legend of Dragoon.
Shout outs to the homie
Thank
Liquid.
you. Shout outs.
So Soaplock says Don Matrick took charge for a day of Xbox again. That's what it felt like. Khalil says Xbox lost their consumer friendly image.
Nobody's consumer friendly. They're all businesses.
These are companies.
They want
Yeah.
your money. You're a statistic. You're a number. The
Yeah, that's
quicker
why I
you
never get like loyalty to a
that.
brand.
What?
easier life is.
What?
Danny says, do you think the run of GameStop stock is ending anytime soon? We talked about that one. Deathproof says, you think it is, Sean?
I think it's peaked. I could be wrong though. I know one of my buddies has stock in it, and I was hitting him up when it was going crazy. I was like, sell, bitch, sell. He's like, no, I'm gonna write it out. It's gonna go higher. I was like, really? I was like, you want to put money on that? He was like, no. I'm like, all right.
I mean,
Well,
technically
he
he
kind of
did.
is putting money on it.
Yeah.
Right?
I wanted it for my
I would say
benefit.
he definitely is.
Deathproof says Xbox Live equals yee as hell. Xbox Live.
Oh, the GTA, right? Yeah, that was
Just the way John said that, just yeez.
I was trying to read it because the text is a little smaller here. Jesse says, I know there are 2D Metroid fans here. Have you checked out Deedlit and Wonder Labyrinth? Love you guys. I have not checked that out. Andy Ackerman says, Jordan is my spirit animal.
Aw.
Thanks, Andy.
Alcatraz says games were increased to $60 in 2005, which is $80 now with inflation. So gamers are still getting the better end of the deal. Then Sidon, $20, no message though.
Wait, you didn't read his full name, John.
Sidon. I was trying. I don't know if this is one of those tricks. That's why sometimes I'll read half the name.
Why, what's his full name?
Wasn't it Pimp
Just
Side
type-
On?
yeah.
Yeah, it was
I always
Side
remember
On.
the funny names in the chat.
Aries says, is it possible that Sony is shooting themselves in the foot with this shift in focus away from Japan?
Yes.
No.
No.
Who's
Wait,
right?
hold on. Wait a minute. You think that they're shooting themselves in the foot? Why, Nate?
By shifting away from Japan?
Yeah.
They are, by shifting into a more Western oriented focus, they're going to limit that appeal. And I mean, Japan's been a very loyal base for them. A lot of their biggest third-party supporters in terms of companies are Japanese, like Atlas. Now, by shifting to Western, you're actually putting these companies into a more risky position.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I think as a business venture, they're risking certain deals with those type of companies. As far as it goes for business in terms of money making, it's a smarter move because North America and Europe has been so big for the company, and you've seen the decline from PS3 to PS4 in terms of overall sales of hardware. So it makes sense of why they're doing this. But when you have Namco, Sega, Atlas, a lot of those Japanese companies who really positioned themselves so strongly on the Sony brand, you're kind of putting them out in the wild and saying,
but what have those companies done though, Nate? They've all westernized Capcom.
Exactly, that's what I was
They've
gonna
all been
say.
able to sell their games everywhere. So
Look at Persona 5 in the West.
but the thing about it is that they might lose. I agree with you with Atlas. That's going to be something that they're going to struggle because Atlas still has quite a bit in Japan, and like Atlas has to adapt to the times. So I do think that might be something. But I think the rest of them will be okay because you can still sell Resident Evil. Look what they're doing with Resident Evil. Resident Evil 8's essentially a Western game now, right? I mean, I think everyone's looking at that game like, is that Japanese? You know?
it's tough because like I'll use Monster Hunter, but because they do have Nintendo with the Switch where they can still make that secondary Monster Hunter line, they'll find success there. But I don't think Capcom can look at a Monster Hunter World 2 and feel with 100% confidence that they can sell 10 million copies again of that game worldwide. I think there will be a pretty steep decline on that sequel.
Well, they would have to
Really?
make sure it was on Nintendo's platform too.
That's interesting. I mean, I don't necessarily like 100% like disagree with it. I just find that as an interesting take because everyone, you know, obviously, you know, you look at the sales of everything, and in Japan, it's been declining rapidly. That's why I was saying before the PS5 even launched, I was saying it's not going to sell when people call me hater, fanboy, all this stuff. And I was like, no, you just got to look. It's been on a drastic decline for the past decade plus for anything that's not a portable system. It's just so it made sense to me that they're moving away from that. You know, it makes perfect sense to me, but.
It makes sense from that business standpoint. It's just one of those moves where is it a risk, and how are your business partners really going to adjust to it? And Sony's been treating Japan horrendously when it comes to PlayStation 5 stock. And every week, analysts are reporting that retailers are basically saying, PS5's doomed. It's done. This isn't going to sell. Software's not selling. We have no hardware to sell. And basically the fans are moving on. They no longer have interest in this brand. And for them to basically give the finger to 8 million potential sales in terms of hardware, that's a hell of a maneuver.
But they want to sell more than PS4. So they want to sell 120 million plus or 150 million or whatever it is. So I can see why they're doing it. And their own Japanese games don't sell. Like their own Japanese, like they haven't really made anything that sells either there. So
it makes sense. It's just kind of one of those cases of, man, if it works for you, good luck. Nintendo's always going to be a very Japanese-oriented company. They're going to design their hardware with Japan in mind. Sony is going the Microsoft route of, we have to focus on North America and Europe and some of the emerging regions, and we're going to hope that market sticks with us. Maybe it will. We'll find out.
Pimp Side On says, your first console was Atari, mine was Pong. You kids get off my lawn.
I'm sorry, what's your username?
This guy's a washed pimp, bro. He's washed.
I mean, I like Side On, so I'm not completely disagreeing.
Brian says, OJ reading my mind about Mass Effect. Shinru says, hey, Spawnwave, I said I see you beating OJ in a 100-meter dash. You could do it, right? I have $50 on this bet. Let me tell you, OJ has that running back burst. So I think OJ now is just
disrespect towards a D1 athlete.
Didn't you talk about how for like a year you just walked out to your backyard and just started sprinting back and forth?
Yeah, I'll tell you this, OJ's got the burst, okay? He's got the speed off
I'm just imagining being your neighbor, just this guy running back and forth.
I would race people at work that would say, oh, I can beat you. We would bet, and I'd be like, I'll burn all you guys here. I'd race people in a suit and tie, and I'll beat them there. I'm not the fastest, but I'm fast. I am not slow. Like, for those who play football, I run about a 4.5 that was my fastest, 4.57. That's my fastest. Not the fastest out there. I'm not a 4.4, but I can run a legit 4.5 And I'm pretty sure if I train for it, I can still run a 4.5 at this point. So I'm not slow.
Dragoon says, do you think there will ever be a Switch with a flexible screen between two Joy-Cons known as Switch Stretch concept?
No.
Nintendo's probably tried it. I don't know. I'm sure they do some weird stuff in R&D.
It's just in a pile of all that shit.
Samsung's voice, Samus's voice acting versus Jin
Sakai.
Samus's voice acting versus Jim Sakai. Go.
Which one's better? Which one's worse?
I guess which one's better or
They're
worse? I don't know.
two totally different like areas of the world, two different types of cultures, two different characters, two different like man versus woman. Apples and oranges. I don't know what to say about that.
Let's go over to our last topic, which is EA, the Switch, and Frostbite. So there's a game going to the Switch that I feel like we talked about this a while ago. I don't know if the game got pushed or I mean, like we had talked about it, but it wasn't actually like technically out there or anything yet. And it's Plants vs. Zombies though.
I feel like we planted the seed to this in like July.
Dude, it was a long time ago. Like it's just, I guess it's been hanging out in the background for a while.
Was that pun intended? Planted the seed?
Yes.
Okay. he was sitting over there quietly thinking, but whatever
he has it on a flashcard sitting right next to his monitor. He's like, I'm going to use it.
Scheming. Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
So Plants vs. Zombies is going to the Switch. That's going to happen in a couple of months. I think the date that was put out there was March. I don't really doubt that. I think that's right. And actually, that's going to come out around the time that Mass Effect's going to come out. Huh. So Plants vs. Zombies going to the Switch. That's on the Frostbite engine, which means that EA must have got the Frostbite engine working on the Switch.
Yay.
Which surprises me because I thought EA hated the Switch.
Did they get the full engine, or did they just get enough to get Plants vs. Zombies running?
We would know if they start doing more Frostbite games, right?
We would.
So would we know that if they decided to actually use the real version of FIFA then on the Switch?
Yes, we would.
You really think that's going to happen a year after they gave us the legacy version?
Well, maybe that's why they did the legacy version, because they were getting Frostbite working, and they're like, all right, it's going to take us like a year to get this thing, an extra year to get us this whole thing moved over to the Switch, the FIFA version.
Think you're giving EA too much credit.
I probably am, yes. But I mean, you assume the Mass Effect trilogy would eventually go to the Switch too, right? They're just going to give us Mass Effect 3 on the Switch, aren't they?
I would just assume nothing.
I don't think we're getting anything Mass Effect related on the Switch, as much as I hate to say that.
The reason I thought they were doing Frostbite is because the Switch is just getting too large to ignore. Like, they have to do stuff with the Switch now because we're between generations, and the Switch is going to be reported in like a week that it's probably close to 80 million or past 80 million units.
Yep.
I mean, it's kind of hard to keep showing up to your investors' calls if you're EA and just trying to explain exactly why you haven't done something as simple as put the Sims on the Switch.
I mean, it's definitely a smart move to get Plants vs. Zombies on the Switch. But yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be, I think, a testing the waters scenario for them. I think, I don't know, the Frostbite on the Switch, yes, I guess you can say that is true, but is it really like the entire suite that makes up Frostbite, or is it just a sub portion to get Plants vs. Zombies running, and then they still have to work to get the rest of it? No.
Yeah, that's Sean. It is a super chat for you. You want to read that after?
Where is it? Grow up.
This one is from It's a Me.
I'm looking.
Oh, we typed it in Discord for you.
Oh, you did? Okay. Anime titties. Also, Spotify wins. That's for you because they want Spotify.
They want Spotify.
I just wanted you to say it out loud.
Yeah, I was gonna make Sean say it again because it was funny when he said it the first time.
Anime titties.
I don't know when we're going to Spotify. There's a free one apparently. We're going to Spotify eventually. I gotta figure that out.
Takes 5 minutes to set it up, guys. It's
for
not a big
episode
deal.
201.
It's not a big deal.
They're going to transfer all 200 episodes for us?
You may have to upload them again.
Maybe. Maybe after 200 we'll start doing a Spotify. Maybe. We'll see. We get a lot of requests for Spotify. So yes, I think it'll be interesting to see how it runs because we've heard a lot of issues with Frostbite. So if we see Frostbite running on the Switch in portable mode, that could be an interesting thing. Maybe they go back and do some of their legacy content. Maybe they get Dragon Age and then move that over. The old one, not the new one, like Inquisition.
Man, you really have hopes for EA.
Yeah, I have none.
I mean, I'd like to think that EA would do so. I mean, Sean's been asking for Madden for how many years now, Sean? Like every year, you're like, this is going to be the year, and then they just disappoint you.
EA makes
giving up
the
now.
Madden games worse. Like the company, this year's Madden was worse than the previous year's Madden. Like they make it worse somehow.
You know, I have some hope now after what we saw with Star Wars with EA that the NFL will look at that and be like, maybe we should have other people make NFL games for us too.
So you tell something about the NFL, they're like, nope. They're like, just whatever gives us the most money.
Whatever
Have
works.
at it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's just because of the amount of players involved, the cover athletes, all these things that like there's probably a lot of talks that have to happen for that. So then it's
NFL's
like,
the most cruel, heartless, one of the most heartless companies out there is the NFL. I'll just tell you that right now.
we need NFL 2K.
Second only to EA.
That's why they work so well together, by the way. Like you just see when who was it? Was it Goodell? When Goodell and Don Matrick were talking, they were connecting on like a spiritual, emotional level. They were like making plans to hang out and everything.
Like, how can we screw over our fan base even more? I got some ideas for you.
Did you see the twinkle in Goodell's eyes when he was talking to Matrick, dude? Like, NFL.
Like, I envy you.
So
Yeah, I wouldn't have any hopes of EA even from this. Like, oh, Frostbite, it's gonna be nothing. They announced their 7 games in a year. That's all the Switch is going to get, and people can play Apex Legends in a week and say, "Wow, this is cool." And then you can try out Plants vs Zombies and say, "This wasn't worth the 2.5-year wait." And EA's gonna say,
Apex is gonna run on the Switch.
Do you guys think
Probably
that
really bad.
if a Switch Pro does come out, that EA is going to be bringing more stuff over, and maybe that's why they're starting to test the water now?
No.
No.
No, what EA should be doing is looking more at the overall like the mobile setup, really, because then they should be able to. We're getting to the point now where they should start looking at just outright cell phones and tablets and stuff for their games, like in general, like their actual games, because we see the Switch and like moving stuff over to ARM and all of this, and we see Nvidia make the big acquisition with ARM, and a lot of people are expecting that to go even further now and start taking up more and more market share. EA should just be looking in that direction as it is anyway. And who knows, maybe the Switch just benefits from it anyway, because it's kind of hanging out there. So I'd like to think, Jake, that in the future, people don't have to wonder if when EA announces a game, if the Switch logo is going to pop up or not. But yeah, it's unfortunate with EA, the way that I don't know if they're holding grudges. I don't know what the deal is.
They seem really salty.
The business models just don't match up. When you look at Madden and FIFA, the big things are FUT and was it MUT? And simply the Switch base isn't very aggressive in using those features, and that's EA's bread and butter. They don't care if they can sell 500,000 copies of FIFA on the Switch if only 5,000 of those people are using FIFA Ultimate Team. They want a vast majority of those people using FIFA Ultimate Team like they have on the Xbox and PlayStation ecosystem, and the Switch base simply isn't investing in the way EA wants to, so they're not finding these projects to be profitable in the long term. They are profitable in the immediate, but then they're saying, is that really worth it? We want 5 years worth of income from a single release, and we're getting that on those other platforms. And if Nintendo's base isn't giving us that, you're going to get FIFA Legacy. We'll make the money that we make on a very cheap port, and we're satisfied enough with that. That's why we're seeing Apex Legends come over. It's a free-to-play game.
It's a free-to-play game.
Get a lot of microtransactions from it, and if they don't get anything, they'll say, "Oh well, we gave you the game. You didn't respond well to it. Bye."
It's yeah. I don't know. It'll be interesting, I guess, to see what they if they do anything. But EA, unfortunately, there's not a lot of expectations with them. It's already just low expectations as it is. Do we have any Discord questions left, Evan? Or are we done?
We're good
with that.
We're
okay.
good.
Let me go through some of these super chats as we finish up here. Furry Panda says you guys are arguing what one to start with, and the only one I played was Resident Evil 5.
Oof, that's a good Resident Evil game. That's
It is.
That's still a very good Resident Evil game. I love Resident Evil 5.
Click stay the course. Resident Evil 2 remake.
Oh boy.
I conceded, and I told her that she can watch a playthrough of the first Resident Evil, and then she can play whatever.
The GameCube one, right?
No, the original.
Don't waste the time watching the preview. Just watch like a
Do the original. No one needs to hear that. No, don't open that door.
Oh man,
You are almost
Where's
a
Barry?
Jill sandwich.
the Jill sandwich, baby.
Here, take
It's better
this.
than hearing
and
Frank West of Covered Wars, you know.
Timmy
Sean.
Francis.
Take this lockpick, since you, the master of unlocking, may need it.
It's
Yikes.
true.
Demi Crow says, anyone know how to fix a PS4 from freezing? Could be your hard drive, could be your GPU. It's kind of hard
Yes,
to say.
hit
I would
it.
start with the hard drive. What?
Multiple times. Hit it.
Cody says, put Sailor Moon in Smash.
Okay.
We got some comments.
Been
on that.
around for 5 hours to throw a
There you
freaking one move, dude.
Okana says, much respect to you all, Jake, for MVP.
Appreciate that.
Trish says, gatekeepers are scary. I started with OG Resident Evil 2.
That's fine.
Good one.
It's a good one.
And Shadow Nexus says, Super Seducer coming to the Switch. Where's the outrage?
Nobody cares.
Okay.
What?
And Sarah says, any of you see David Hayter's tweet about the Zoom call he did with a bunch of the other Metal Gear voice actors? Hayter said details coming soon. Well, that's because Metal Gear Solid is getting a remake on the PS5. Blue Point's doing it.
Oh,
We already talked about it. Didn't we talk about this, Nate?
I feel like we talked about it a week ago.
Yeah, we already talked about this. All the details are out there. You can go watch it on the second channel. We covered it. 2024.
Maybe 2023.
Oh. Okay.
You guys and your Konami dreams.
Doggy said, is there east-west divide between Nintendo and PlayStation/Xbox?
What?
Well, Nintendo. Is there east-west divide between Nintendo and PlayStation, Xbox?
No, it's
Yeah.
just look. Let's be realistic here.
completely different.
Japan, at least right now in 2021, does not really give a shit about home console gaming. Facts. Prove me wrong. You can't, because it's a fact. So it's just the way the shift is. Nintendo is crushing it in Japan right now just because that market doesn't seem to care about the latest PlayStation home console. So going back to the conversation we were having before, it does make sense for Sony to focus more on the West, because right now Japan doesn't care about them.
Unless they have a Vita 2 ready to go, right?
They
The Vita
got
5G?
No, they can't just. They'd be excited, but then they'd have to have the games too. It can't just
Have
be
to
the
back it up.
system.
Yep.
You can't just, because the Vita came out and yeah, people were excited, but it didn't have the games the PSP had, and even then, PSP had games, but the game sales for PSP are some of the most atrocious
That's because
ratios that I've ever seen in my life. Like the system sold 80-something million, and the best-selling game is like Grand Theft Auto, like at 5 million or 6 million or something like that. So I've never seen a system sell so much and have so small sales because of piracy and people just playing other stuff on it, not playing the actual games. So that's the problem. That's why Sony did all the crazy stuff with the PS Vita, like the locking it down and the memory cards and how they did everything, because they saw piracy ripped apart the PSP. So
there's still a couple of super chats left here with Streamlabs, but let me go around and do some outros here as we finish up. Jake, thank you for joining us tonight. Where can everyone find you?
Oh, well, thanks for having me. You can find me on YouTube. It's just Jake Randall. Twitter as well. Same thing. I'm sure I'll be the first one to pop up if you just type my name.
If you need a PS5 still, or an Xbox, or any of these hard to find items, you got to check out Jake's. He does these streams where like thousands of people watch and everyone just tries to get a PS5. He had a lot of success with that too. A lot of people have been able to get systems from it. So
Nice.
Yeah, I've got like a pinned tweet with like that people can just like when they get the console from a stream, and it's like 30,000 likes right now.
oh, that's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, the chat all night has been saying shout out to you for helping them get
Yeah,
a PS5. So
good
Oh,
stuff.
I appreciate that. And honestly, John, I just want to thank you so much. I've been watching you for years, been watching a lot of you guys for years, actually. It was awesome to be on the Spawncast tonight. I really appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. It was a lot of fun having you on, and good luck with all those bots out there trying to secure those PS5s.
Appreciate that.
It's rough out there, man. It's rough.
Yeah, definitely.
Zaire Miller says, can we get Fs for Vicarious Visions?
F.
they got okay.
They're absorbed in the Blizzard.
yeah, they're making Diablo 2.
They're making
right
Diablo
now.
2. But
Yeah.
I wanted Tony Hawk Underground.
Well, because not enough people bought the other one.
What? No, it did well.
Well, not well enough for Activision to go, all right, let's do it again.
It even
What's
charted in the MPDs.
Unless they give it off to a different studio.
It charted in the MPDs as a $40 game. That's pretty good.
Don't even
I mean,
mention
we'll
their
see.
name.
It's like the best opening for a Tony Hawk game ever.
It was.
Oh well. Steven says Wind Waker or Twilight Princess. It's Wind Waker for me. I'm going Wind Waker.
I'm gonna go Twilight Princess.
Wind Waker, baby. Like my
Yeah, Wind Waker.
No one's gonna.
Wind Waker HD. Wind Waker HD. Not the
Wind
original
Waker.
Wind Waker.
Wind Waker HD is amazing.
What was the
I'm
question?
gonna OG Twilight Princess because the remake.
Sorry, I missed it. It was Wind Waker. Which game?
Wind Waker or
Princess.
Twilight Princess.
I'll play Wind Waker if
yeah,
I can
Wind
play
Waker
as
as well.
Tingle
Wind Waker.
in Nate's game.
What?
I'm gonna play as
Twilight-
Tingle
I
in your
go-
game in Wind Waker. That's how I'll do it.
I'm on Miss Click's team.
Okay.
Twilight.
There you go.
Yeah.
I like Toon Link.
Don't think what's good. Yeah, people hated him back in the day on the AOL message
Man,
board.
people
No, I'm
hate
already-
every new.
People hated him,
thing.
ported him.
Every new.
They hated it
thing.
until they played it. Then when they played it, they're like, "This is."
No,
freaking
and like
amazing.
once it reaches like a certain amount of years, they're like, "Oh, why did you guys hate that game? I loved it since the beginning." And it's like, no, you definitely did not.
As to why we hated Wind Waker, and that's
Yeah,
because the
because
Space
they
World
showed
demo
us.
showed us this awesome, realistic-looking Link fighting Ganondorf, and then all of a sudden Nintendo's like, "Here's Zelda," and we're like, "What the hell?" And then
Yeah,
remember,
cartoon. Yeah.
the GameCube.
No.
We were all hoping the GameCube was
No.
going to be this awesome thing. We're going up against the Xbox with Halo. We're going up
You
against the
got
PS2.
some of each. You got your Twilight
Yeah.
Princess and you got
Nintendo
Every
comes
Zelda
out
is
with it.
different. It'll come in
Twilight came
time.
way late though. Twilight Princess was 2006.
And this is why Phantom
It was there for
Hourglass
years.
still is on top.
It's only
Well,
4 years.
Well, but to be fair, people back then hated Metroid Prime too.
Yeah.
They'll hate
Metroid Prime, the
it's
original,
edgy
people
to
hated
hate
that, though.
things, apparently.
So, Mac Vega
Y'all
says,
whack.
would she play the OG Resident Evil or the Resident Evil Director's Cut? Oh boy, we're bringing Director's Cut in. You don't know. Resident Evil 2 remake. Start with that.
Oh my gosh.
She has to watch. No, she has to watch.
Oh,
She's never gonna play it.
She
She's
doesn't have to
never
watch a
gonna play
3-hour
it.
movie.
She does. You have to know what's going on in the world.
Oh,
Just read the
don't
wiki.
If
You'll
it's
be
if
fine.
it is lore based, I will do study on the lore. But what I actually have to play through, like Kingdom Hearts,
All right.
I did a lot
will
of research on the
continue.
lore, but I did not play every single Kingdom Hearts.
can't she just play Resident Evil 2 remake? If she just likes the game, then she can go back and
Yeah, just play it, and if she enjoys the game, then she can go back and say, maybe I'll find out more stuff.
okay. So
There's
so
a Resident Evil Archives book that came out in
Oh my gosh.
2005.
You're gonna
It's
read.
that book
do
from
some
front to
reading.
back.
Is there like a Resident Evil YouTube channel where they just like do summaries on the story?
Click.
Yeah.
I will link you. I will personally link you what to watch. There. I'll go.
Okay.
I heard that people that enjoy Astral Chains combat for whatever reason really like Resident Evil 2.
Wow,
So it's
this
gonna
book
turn
is
me on as
That
much as Astral
explains
Chains?
so much, actually.
It's gonna turn me
That's
on.
how we get her
Okay.
to play, guys.
There you
Alright.
go. There you go.
There you go.
Say no more.
Let's go over to MPG. Where can they find you, man?
She's downloading it now.
You can find me on Twitter at Modern Vintage G, YouTube Modern Vintage Gamer. 3DS video coming out Monday, and I'll be giving that system away. So check out the channel. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. What about Click?
Yeah, thanks for having me. You guys can find me here on YouTube as Miss Click Gaming. Still sitting right under 100,000 subscribers, so thanks for that. We'll be back eventually. I'm having some PC issues, so I'd say you could follow me. I stream almost every day on Twitch at twitch.tv/missclick_live, but I don't know when I'll be back until I can figure out these issues. So bear with me with the patience. Other than that, I will probably be posting a lot of nonsense on Twitter. Yeah, so you can just find me there. Thanks for having me.
What about OJ?
Yeah, you can find me right here on YouTube. I stream pretty much daily, Monday through Saturday. Also do edited videos pretty much daily as well. I cover a lot of Nintendo RPGs and anime as well. So if you're into any of that type of stuff, definitely check out the channel if you can.
Secon10 says, what's going on with Vicarious Visions? Talked about it a couple times, but it's not great. Loom Doom says, if there was a remake of Zelda 2, which third party or indie developer would you like to remake it? Much love, everyone. Who'd
What?
you guys have remake it? Zelda 2.
Monolith Soft.
Monolith Soft, okay.
If they're gonna make it into like an actual RPG, right? Are they
Zelda
gonna just-
2. I don't know how they do it, because you could technically get like what Grezzo or somebody just be like remake
Okay,
this.
I gotta know like what the scale of this is. This gonna be like a Final Fantasy VII remake type of thing, or is this gonna be like we're just gonna make this?
That's a good
shiny?
question. I don't know. I kind of feel like they just make it shinier and then move on.
Okay, then yeah, who gives a damn? Whoever. Anybody, who cares? This is the Zelda 2.
Oscar says, just got into the stream. what Jake does that everyone in chat said thank you. Oh, what did Jake do? He's in helping people find systems that are very difficult to find right now. PS5, Xbox Series X, and all of that. So you want to follow him, because if you're trying to get that stuff, he'll keep you informed. And eventually we'll get that next Switch, I'm sure, and he'll be all over that, trying to get people those hopefully before the bots get them, and then try to charge us $800 for them.
Yeah.
That would be fun. Jordan, where can they find you?
Again, you ask me this every week. I don't know what to say. I'm not really doing much, but I'm glad to be here.
Instagram. You're very active on Instagram.
Yeah, but that's just a Pokemon page. I just post Pokemon stuff.
Twitter?
Yeah, but I haven't been on Twitter really much in like weeks. I'm just,
He is a busy man.
I don't really do the social medias too much anymore.
Drop your email address in the chat.
Drop my email. Yeah, send
cell phone number or something.
Let's be pen pals.
Liam says, first happy 10K, Nate. I hope you get to 20K by the end of the year. Second, when, if ever, do you think we will start seeing GameCube and Wii games on Switch? I'm dying for Galaxy 2 and Kirby's Return to Dreamland, and we know Nintendo has an emulator now.
I want so many GameCube games and Wii games on the Switch. It's not even funny.
John, do you mind if I say one more thing that I meant to say in the outro?
Yeah, what's up?
I just wanted to announce to everyone some content coming up, because I just hit 100K. I told everybody that I would shave my whole face when I open this, so that's gonna be
Let's go.
Mistakes were made.
So it's yeah.
You doing that live? You live streaming that?
I'm gonna make it a video.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
I don't know if I have the cojones to do that live.
You're gonna look 12, Randall.
What's that? Dude, I don't even know what I look like anymore with that. You know what I mean?
So you want to tune in for that.
It grows back though. Hopefully.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, that's what they all say.
Squeaky. Oh man. Nate, when do you think those GameCube games are dropping?
For Switch?
Yeah, for Switch. We didn't get 64 or Game Boy yet, but we're just jumping straight to game.
Straight to GameCube games?
Don't crush me.
Not for a while.
Sounds like a sweet next gen feature along with folders and themes.
Yeah, maybe 2022, maybe 2023.
Okay.
Ways out. First, we got to get N64.
Yeah, that has to happen first. Once you see 64, then we start talking about GameCube, right?
Dude, we need Game Boy Advance. What's this N64 stuff?
Hey, first I'll give us N64.
Game Boy.
Defending the N64, now you have a problem, MVG? What is N64 people are shifty as hell, dude. Like, one minute they say one thing, and N64 are the shiftiest people are N64 people.
To be fair, we have Labo. Does that mean we get Virtual Boy then first?
Just saying, there's a pecking order here. We don't have Game Boy Advance yet.
Yeah, I think Game Boy is going to come first.
Oh, wait a minute.
Whoa.
They did that thing again where he's
Hold
like-
up. Someone check Resetter.
Anyone hear anything about a Death Stranding PS5 update? That game was made for the DualSense with the rain, how they did the rain and Astrobot, triggers resistance on how much weight you have. Last heard, Kojima said they would have an update soon on 12/17. That's a game I would go back and check out on the PS5.
Could you imagine
cool.
navigating the BTs
Would
with the rumble?
No, I don't want to do that. Those parts gave me a lot of anxiety.
I would just stream with all the lights off.
No, stop it.
Blasting the music super loud.
No, I don't want to do
Throw
that.
my pea grenades everywhere.
I do want to do that.
What'd you say, Sean?
I was asking if they're gonna actually add like a fun patch into the game as well.
Okay.
Besides walk around and piss. And...
Sean is the one person on this podcast that has the special edition with the baby.
And it's confusing that he doesn't like a game where you throw fecal matter at things.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. I regret not getting it. I really would like BB.
I just wanted the special edition PS4. That's all I want. I thought that PS4
it was really cool with the handprints.
That was really
and
nice.
everything. Yeah.
I tried really hard to get one as of like a regret thing, and I couldn't. The prices went too high.
Then we have Rand M. No message. Thanks, Rand M. And then Shamsa, once again, donating $100. Thank you, Shamsa. Again, that's very generous. And I think it's just about everyone. Did I get rid of the Jordan? Oh, Evan, where can they find you?
You find me on Twitter, Kim Merch Project. I post updates for the shirt, which hopefully will be coming to a close soonish. And yeah, occasionally I stream, usually Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'll talk about it there.
You're going to post up some stuff about that shirt. So everyone has been hearing about the shirt for weeks and weeks now. You want to follow Evan so you can eventually see the final product. And I'm sure you'll post some stuff about what your sketch and everything looks like for Jake too. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes. Cool. Pab Game says, hi everyone, but hi Jake.
Hey Pab, how's it going, man?
Alden says, anyone grab an analog pocket? Love the cast, guys. I wasn't able to get one, so I'll be curious.
I got one.
MVG got one,
but it's like they're not going to be till like
May, right?
May or something. So
yep. So I'll try to get one around then. We'll see what happens. But I will look forward to MVG's video otherwise, and then I don't know, look on eBay or try to find one somewhere. Who knows?
I'm hopeful they'll open up another pre-order, and this time actually make it a real pre-order, not this like 50 unit bullshit they did.
It was gone so fast. It was like a 3080 all over again.
Dude, I didn't even get a 3080. This one was I don't know what this was.
And then Shinru, what's everyone's take on Bloodstained Ritual of the Night? I saw on Some Call Me Johnny's channel they added a classic mode and it plays just like old school Castlevania. Would you bring him to the show? Yeah, we could talk. I'll talk to Some Call Me Johnny. Let's see what we can do about that. I've not played Bloodstained Ritual of the Night in a little while now.
I am disappointing.
It's okay.
The Switch version in particular, disappointing.
I played it on the PS4. Yeah. I played it on the PS4 at the time, and then I finished it, and that was it. So I have not tried it again on the PS5.
I played on the Xbox One. It's okay. I was just disappointed in how they handled the Switch version. That's all.
Yeah.
That was rough.
And I think that's everything here. Okay. Thanks everyone for tuning in.
Yeah. And screwed.
I didn't even fucking get an outro
Every time.
I didn't give you or Sean one yet, Nate. I just wanted to see if Nate would. No, I just wanted to see if you would try to stop me. Sean, where can they find you?
Find me on RGT85. Go watch my Hitman video. Evidently, I made a mistake in there. We sing 50 Cent and 3
We got a timestamp on that?
Find it and timestamp it in the comments to let them know you saw it.
I'm sure the comments have done it already for me.
I'm helping your metric. Stop it.
We do, yeah. We sing 3-6 Mafia. We sing a little 50 Cent. We got the Katahaja May of Joey Styles in there. It's a good time, man. And there's a video tomorrow, so watch that too.
Only boring content said, do you feel like Sony made a big mistake with the PS4 for its long-term life by not making it backwards compatible? PS5, CECHA01, PS3 best combo. You know, I would have liked to have seen that. I think that would have been great, but
they didn't make a mistake. They sold 150 million consoles or whatever it was.
Not wrong.
I still would have liked to have seen it work like that. Mm-hmm.
Can I issue a challenge to the chat real quick?
Ooh.
What's that?
If you guys head over to RGT's Hitman videos, I'm gonna put that timestamp on there, and I want everyone to reply to the timestamp with anime titties. Just type anime titties.
Do it. This is great for my metric.
But here's the thing: if you're gonna participate in the challenge, you gotta watch the whole video all the way through.
It's a fun video. There's some good little gags in there and stuff.
No ad skipping.
Exactly. Full ads.
I like this challenge.
That's up, dude.
Okay, Nate, take us out. Where can they find you? And then tell everyone they can catch us next week. You can take us out.
I'll do the outro too. Sweet.
Go for it.
Okay, you can find me on YouTube at Nathan Hate. MVG and I have an episode up there right now where we talk to Richard Hogue of Hogue's Law about the Nintendo Switch Joy-Con lawsuit and everything you need to know about it and how Nintendo has positioned themselves in a very strong way to likely win these lawsuits. But it's a very good listen, full of useful law information, so everyone should check that out. We have an episode next week where we will have a very special guest to dive into a recent topic. And until next time, thanks everybody for watching the Spawncast. We enjoy your participation with us every week, and thank you, Evan, for moderating it and doing such a fine job at censoring the chat. Thank you, everyone who gave super chats. We appreciate it. And we'll see you again next Saturday, same time, same place.
Episode
Bye.
200.
Episode 200. Buy our shirt. Bye, everybody.